Live once again. NFL Week 6, which is crazy that this season's already at Week 6.
Yeah.
And Week 5. Recap. A lot to get to. Big slate of football, especially for us two Patriot fans in the frame right now. Additionally, some other things happened that were semi-unimportant. I think this week and last week were actually really bad slates, which we'll definitely talk about. But Cam, any overall thoughts on this week in NFL? And I mean, if there's anything, I feel like college is pretty unmemorable as well.
Yeah, no, kind of a lame college weekend, especially following last week. NFL, I mean, kind of tough to not talk about the storyline of the entire week with the Pats upset on the road, but trying to hold my excitement until we get to them. But it was a bad slate, but at the same time, I think it broke the record for the most amount of fourth quarter comebacks or 10-point comebacks or something like that. So even if it was like intriguing and like the end of the game definitely either helped you or really hurt you on betting. Like it killed me with the Eagles and also the Giants, but we'll get into each game as we go.
All right. So yeah, last week, unfortunately, Michael, you were not able to join us. So we had the wonderful Rat step in on short week's notice.
Wonderful.
He's, I think you guys are on the Mount Rushmore, most appearances, you guys and him, and then I don't know who would be the fourth. Anyways, last week, your boy is making a comeback. 11-3 record on the week. Pretty impressed by myself, honestly. Some of those picks I gave were not great, but most of them ended up hitting. Cam still above 500, 8-6, so decent week as well. And then we had Rat, who, I feel like he likes to maybe just give himself an uphill battle for if he needs to come back because he went 6-8, so he's going to start below 500. And bring us to the records on the year so far. Obviously, Rat has only done 1 week, so he's 6-8. Michael, we left you at 30-34 heading into this week, so you got some ground to make up to get back over 500. I'm now well above 500, 42-36, and Cam, you're 46-32, so I'm 4 games back behind you. So it's getting really interesting for the spreads. It's going to be an exciting week, and moving forward, we'll see what happens. The DOUF is really close as well, and other segments. Well, Focus 5 is not close, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Starting out with the Week 5 recap, we had Thursday night. I'll start this game like I wasn't watching a ton of it just because I was filming a UFC pod with Shane, so I went from our stream to do a UFC pod with Shane. It took like an hour and a half. I had the Red Sox-Yankees game on. They were kind of losing at that point, so turned this game on for the last couple minutes, and a lot of people were talking about like Mac Jones almost dying or whatever. I kind of missed that because I was, under the influence of weed, but we can skip that part.
Whoa, okay.
On the pod?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, it was actually a really bad decision. Anyways, dog of the week for me was the 49ers, so nice, easy win because they went outright, which was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Kyren Williams fumble. Yeah, I mean, this is a really good game. I feel like every time these two head coaches and teams play, it's always a good matchup. I know, Cam, you're not the biggest fan of the NFC West, but I thought this was one of the better Thursday night football games we've seen in the season so far.
Yeah, kind of in the same boat. I was mainly focused on the Sox-Yanks game 3. Obviously a tough loss there, but then lost a decent amount on the Sox. But then I don't know why I had an urge of my boy Mac Jones to make a comeback. Took him money line, and thankfully they pull it out in OT. I also had him plus 8.5. It seemed way too large. I do like the resiliency the 49ers are showing with the insane plague of injuries that they have. It's definitely these two teams in the NFC West are giving that division a little bit more credit than I've obviously been giving them throughout the year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, San Fran can get healthy throughout the rest of the season. I know they're still pretty banged up, but I mean, if they can just stay alive, I mean, aren't they on top of that division now? Or if not, they're only a game back by the Rams, I'm pretty sure. So it's going to be an interesting race to the end, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think you have the Seahawks are maybe 3-2, and then also the Rams are 3-2. Kendrick Bourne, by the way, you had the touchdown, which was tough.
He went off. He played his ass off.
10 catches for 142 yards, and yes, it looks like the 49ers will be getting Brock Purdy, Pearsall, and Juwan Jennings back this week. I think Kittle's due to come back soon. Obviously, McCaffrey's still there, so I really like the 49ers team, and also the Rams. The Rams just have crazy experience, crazy coaching. Next game, Sunday morning. I was not able to catch, I wasn't following this game drive by drive, but did see some stuff. Obviously, Dylan Gabriel didn't look too terrible against like a Brian Flores defense. But I don't know, Cam, if you watched this whole game.
I
What's your
did.
take on this one?
I watched the whole game. It was your classic, low scoring overseas game to wake up Sunday. I don't know why, kind of the same feeling with the San Fran and Mac Jones gut feeling. I just couldn't see this Vikings team losing 2 in a row in Europe, and especially one of the games being against the Browns. So thankfully, Carl Wentz leads the team last drive. I mean, hell of a throw to Addison. It's definitely like terrifying watching him play. I feel he's going to snap both of his legs each time he tries to scramble out of the pocket and make the biggest play when all I have to do is throw it out of bounds. But, I mean, this Vikings team's kind of scrappy. I know that Browns team has been given shit for obviously being the worst franchise in the NFL, but their defense is insane. Like you said, Gabriel played okay. So I'm curious to see, especially with Flacco now in the Bengals, which we'll talk about. But Gabriel, obviously, clearly the number one, and it doesn't seem like anybody's really close behind him for number 2. So he's got a long leash. Going to be interesting to see how he develops.
Yeah, I just looked at JJ McCarthy. I think the Vikings are on bye this week.
Yeah.
So he might be coming back after the bye. I think it's a good win in London, like you said. And I'm excited to see Dylan Gabriel play. It's going to be annoying because you're going to have Shadur comments now even more with Flacco being traded. But I don't know. I hope Dylan Gabriel can be good just to make it more entertaining for the Browns. And I don't know. It seemed like there was at least like a decent buzz them starting the game out. And, Quinshon Judkins is also playing really well.
He was electric.
Yeah.
He had a few really good runs. Yeah.
So I'm kind of okay with both these teams where they're at right now. I don't think the Browns are like the most boring watch, so we'll have to see moving forward. To the 1 o'clock slate we go, which the Colts didn't. This is one of my only misses, I think, on the board. I think I'm not banning them quite yet, but I might be done trying to pick the Raiders every week because it's just not going to work. But I don't know what your thoughts are. I kind of missed a lot of this 1 o'clock slate, and this one was way out of hand by the time I was able to clock in. So if you saw
the Colts was one of my favorite picks, especially in the early slate, and they cashed in basically at halftime. Total domination from the jump. Kind of in the same boat with you on the Raiders, not really liking what I'm seeing, but maybe it's also that Colts team. I mean, I've been giving them shit, but I mean, what are they? 4-1, 5-1? I'm
4-1. Well, it's week 6. So they can't be 5-1.
Yeah, so it's 4-1, but still, I mean, Daniel Jones played really well, but it also, we've talked about the level of competition they face. So going to be interesting to see how they perform against much better competition than the Raiders, especially when they're at home. But yeah, thankfully I cashed that one in pretty early.
I don't know, man. I'm not impressed. I'm still not impressed with the Colts. Their wins are the Dolphins, Titans, Raiders, and Broncos, which the Broncos was a great win, but we were on here talking about how that was like a Fugazi-ass win. And
they got the Cardinals this week.
Yeah, I think we also talked about, though, like, sure, we're not impressed, but their schedule is fucking Cupcake City. Like,
these first couple weeks are, and then they have Chargers, then Titans, because they play the Titans twice.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, Steelers, Falcons, Chiefs, Texans, Jags, Seahawks, 49ers, Jags, Texans. So
back half, yeah. Okay.
Not looking too crazy there. So enough with that game. Comment from the chat. Fantasy football questions. We can definitely answer some fantasy football questions. Not sure if we'll spend too much time on it, but if there's anything on the top of your mind, we can answer that. Next one. Rat had us on this one. Saints beat the Giants, and makes sense. Like the Saints need to win a game. They were on 4. Giants kind of coming off that high, winning against Chargers. Dart only 2 touchdowns, and I mean no Malik Neighbors. It was I kind of forgot the part that Malik Neighbors is out, and they're going to be trying to throw the ball like Wanda Robinson, Jalen Hyatt. But Cam Scatterbo, big fumble in this game. I heard, but I wasn't able to watch a ton of this game. So what was your takeaways from this one as well?
Yeah, I think we both underestimated the fact that Neighbors was out, and we underestimated the Saints team. I know we're going to talk about it later, but I think this is a huge win for the Saints to win this week. So that way we're not like the first Spencer Rattler win next week. So I know it might be a letdown spot for the Pats going into New Orleans, but I wasn't honestly too impressed. This was more of a Giants like losing the game. I think they had 4 turnovers in the second half at least. They had control of this game, honestly, in the first half. I was watching it because I had the Giants as one of my main picks. Yeah, they're in my Focus 5 as well. So, I mean, it was tough to watch. Kind of absolutely blew up. I wasn't expecting Scatterbo to fumble either. I mean, he's been the first half he was absolutely dominant carrying that team up and down the field because Dart didn't really play that well, especially with Neighbors out as we mentioned. But I don't really like either of these teams betting wise moving forward towards the bottom of my list. So
Yeah, I mean the Giants still have a good defense, but I mean letting up 26 points to the Saints.
yeah,
I mean, looks like Shaheed had a big touchdown. I know that, but yeah, I mean this is kind of already like week 5, and you're already getting like 2 tanking teams playing, so we don't have to spend too much time on it.
yeah.
Comments from the chat, Mikey. I'm gonna need your expertise in this one as our fantasy expert. So
Fantasy expert.
available: Woody Marks, Pacheco, Spears, Tracy, Iomanner, Dubes, Bond, Trey Tucker, Bourne, Engram, Janu. 12-man
What the fuck is this question?
Well, it's going to be another question. 12-man redraft, half PPR, 2 flex. Drake May, good. Bijan, Genti, Ibuka, Jason. This kid's got a good team. Dio Johnson, Bill, Dowdle. Well, I guess Dowdle's going to be kind of dog shit. But Fields, Tootin, Golden, CD, Jawan. This is a good team, bro, in a 12-man. So drop anyone's for Mark's stash or for Bourne for a 1-week play. I would say no because Bourne is going to become irrelevant because Pearsall and Jennings are back. Woody Marks. Michael, is there anything you have down on Woody Marks?
Not really. No,
Biggest pause in history.
Is Dowdle like gonna be a number 1 running back after next week?
No,
Chuba. Well, Chuba was like a last minute.
Yeah,
because Cam actually
late
picked one to focus 5, and then you got.
So that might be a guy to dump, but I don't know.
I mean, you could just be stashing him, but I don't think I feel like the Texans is like a committee right now, so I don't know because you still have Chubb. And as always, the chat is in love with Cam. Guy on the right has Lil Man syndrome.
okay.
Your response?
No comment.
No comment. Okay, taking the high road. This one, I was surprised how right I was. Looks like Cooper Rush is not the guy. I was trying to tell you he's not the guy. Seems like he's kind of out of luck or like I don't know what was going on, but whatever rhythm it was, he's going to have to find it with this Ravens team. And also looking at the spread for this week, looks like Lamar's also not going to play this week. So this Ravens team, like I was explaining last stream, like I think there's something going on under the current there, and I think things might start to explode. We can talk about that more when we get to their game. But Texans, man, starting out, what were they, 0-3, and just now they're back 2-3, very impressive. Cam, your division winner for the AFC South.
Mm-hmm.
What are your takeaways on are the Ravens done and are the Texans back, or is this kind of just like a one-off situation?
I think it's a one-off. I don't think you can deem the Ravens out when you have Lamar out. And I know they've lost in the games that he was in. Obviously, they did lose, but close games against great competition. I was surprised on the strategy of the Ravens. I mean, I think Henry had 8 carries in the first half, where obviously you have Cooper Rush, who probably hasn't started since at least last year, if not 2 years ago. So a little interesting there. And it definitely didn't play it played right into the Texans' hands. They just kept I think it was 21-0 within the first 10 minutes of the game. So I don't know. I mean, the Texans team, I expected them to win the AFC South, but this isn't a massive check mark for me for the Texans. Obviously, you needed to get wins on the board, but they're playing a backup quarterback who obviously Lamar is one of the most dynamic players, if not arguably the MVP of this league. So I don't know. Doesn't really say much for either team. I think the Ravens can bounce back later on in the year once Lamar gets healthy, but obviously you got a long road ahead.
Yeah, I'd like for the Ravens to lose 1 or 2 more games the next weeks and then just take them to make the playoffs, win some money.
Pretty sure they got a bye after this week, so I think that's why they're benching Lamar, got a bye, and then he'll come back the week after.
Gotcha. So it looks like this commenter is taking the unpopular route. He's hating on you guys and likes me. He says, "Guy Ginger in the middle has that extendo forehead."
All right,
this kid puts his entire squad and the waiver wire on the chat, and then expects us to talk about it.
Hey, even though we haven't mentioned fantasy football a single time on this podcast this year.
So. Hey, I said we'd answer questions.
Great comment, buddy. Get
Mikey
the fuck out.
Thanks, friend.
Yeah.
Mikey was trying to help you out. I don't know why you're coming out after him. Next one, Broncos, Eagles. You said it, Cam. This was one of your ones that burned you, but I was happy to see this because I did predict the Broncos would cover 3.5. not only did they that, but they won. I gotta start taking more money lines of the underdogs I like, but I was able to catch the end of this game, kind of just see the Broncos do their thing, and then I was kind of expecting this Eagles loss. Like I don't think there's no undefeated teams left after this week, right?
No, the Bills were
So
the last
Eagles,
one.
yeah, Eagles take their first L, and Bo Nix. I mean, the Broncos. I still feel the same about them, but does this concern you at all about the Eagles?
I don't know. It seems like there's something kind of like you talked with the Ravens, but I feel like this Eagles team is just. I know it's extremely high expectations being the Super Bowl champ, being one of the last undefeated teams left in the league, but having a team 17-3 at home too, just absolutely choking. I don't know if you watched how much of the second half you saw, but it felt like they were trying to force feed AJ Brown the ball 30 yards downfield almost every drive in the second half when you have the best running back in the league, arguably, up by 14. And it just led to incompletions, causing the clock to stop, and then giving the Broncos enough opportunity to obviously tie the game. And then, they had the opportunity to tie the game, and then they go for 2 to take the lead, putting the Eagles in a gross position. And then Broncos get the ball back. Huge fourth down conversion, too. That was controversial. I don't know if you saw that. Peyton kind of trying to do it to seal the game and keep the ball and knee it out. But it was a tough loss for me. But this doesn't change my opinion about the Eagles. I still think they'll figure it out. But definitely maybe a little bit of a plus for the Broncos here. I mean, they've been playing pretty well, and especially on the road going into that hostile Philly environment. Bo Nix looked great, especially in the second half. So keep an eye out on him.
Yeah, I think the Broncos are just like fine. Like I don't have really.
Yeah, they seem like middle of the pack, but like they'll win games that they shouldn't, and then lose games they shouldn't too. So.
Yeah. More comments from chat. So maybe this is all a ploy. He's laughing now. Low-key Lil Man syndrome started it. Later, my guy, he says. But he's still here because when you said best running back in the league, he's asking.
That's Rat.
Saquon.
That's Rat.
Oh, Rat said this. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, well, look at this. It's the blue. So that caught me off guard.
Yeah.
So Rat has rejoined us from last week. Saquon, best running back in the league. Your take.
I should have said arguably, but I mean, after last, like last year, I mean, he had arguably the greatest running back season that we've seen in recent years. So I'm still confident in him. I know he had a fuck ton of carries last year, which could be a little bit reason of why the production's been a little bit lower to start the year. But I'm fully confident this team will figure it out, especially Saquon.
Yeah, I just think the best running back in the league is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that take. I mean,
no, I'm just chilling.
I'm not.
Brad says no and says, where was Saquon last week? AKA the game we're talking about right now, I think.
He caught a tutty.
Did he?
Yeah, he caught like a 40-yard bomb.
I'm laughing at this comment. I'm sorry. Best running back, James Cook.
Okay. All right.
Or Lamar, good call, sub. Okay. We'll keep it moving.
Good call.
Michael, I know you didn't watch a lot of football this weekend, but the New York Jets did play a football game against the Dallas Cowboys, and this happened. So is there anything you wanted to add for this one or start us out here? And I think, are the Jets the only team that hasn't won a game yet?
They are the defeated team of the league, yes.
Okay. Who would you want? Is it too early to ask who you'd want at number one pick?
I don't know any college football, so
I don't either, but it's
always too early to ask.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they'll be the number one drafting team because I think they'll go on a little run at the end of the year and win like 7 games still. No, that's not true. That's not gonna happen. I think they'll get to like 5 or something, but there's going to be some terrible teams that would get to like 2. So, I don't know. I was obviously higher on them than they've shown this year after week 1 and preseason. It's definitely tough to see, especially since I think all of us were pretty high on their defense, and they've just not been good this year, giving up a shit ton of points to the Cowboys, who do have a good offense, but it seems like every week they're just getting shit on, basically. I'm interested to see how long it takes for Aaron Glenn to take over defensive play calling, because that's definitely been a topic of discussion. And it'll be interesting to see who they get rid of at the trade deadline because it seems like everyone's available except for like Garrett and Sauce, and that's probably it.
So the only good players.
I find it so crazy the storyline you kind of brought up. Ooh, Brees. Yeah, I heard Brees might be on the table.
He definitely should be. He's in the last year of his deal.
I just find it crazy how we all went in. I feel like the majority of the public was expecting the Jets to hang around due to their defense in a lot of these games, and Fields to maybe make mistakes causing losses. But I feel like it's been the opposite. Like it sounds like I haven't watched a lot of Jets games, but from what I've seen, like Fields hasn't played bad. Like
he's like I don't think he's maybe thrown one pick. I don't know if he's even thrown a pick. He's had a couple fumbles, but he's played as good as you could have expected going into the year.
Exactly. It's like you said, this defense. I don't know if it's a part of this whole quote unquote culture change that Glenn's trying to install, but obviously it's not looking great especially him being a defensive guy. So that's a little concerning for me. But
any game specific takeaways from this one, Cam, or?
Not really. I have seen a lot of national media hyping up Dak like for MVP, and I don't understand why. Like maybe the stats are putting it that way, but you need to be a fucking playoff team, and maybe their record reflects that right now. But I don't see this Cowboys team making the playoffs at the end of the year. So I think it's just national media Cowboy Dak hype, but that blew me away.
I was watching a video of one of my favorite streamers, and he was talking to this guy, and he was like in an argument because he was like, Dak's better than Jalen Hurts and is going to win the MVP this year.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull up the MVP odds because I'm probably it's just Josh Allen, but I was curious to see the odds.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, next game in Carolina. What's the temperature in Charlotte? I mean, this is a big win, because not because of the team they were playing, but just the way they won this game was pretty intense. Did catch the end of this one as well, and I think you and I were both in the Panthers as well.
Yeah.
So big win. They were underdogs at least when we recorded. I think they might have ended like minus 1.5. But the Panthers have 2 wins when a lot of these teams right now have 1 or 0. So are the Panthers a step above that kind of bottom of the league right now, in your opinion, or?
I don't know. I think Mikey kind of got me on the Chuba train mid last year, and kind of been riding that, and that made me a little nervous when I saw that he was out. But Dowdle fucking played a hell of a game. I actually knew a lot of people that went to the game, said it was an electric crowd, obviously an entertaining game back and forth towards the end, especially going down 17-0, coming back like that, especially at home. I know this Dolphins team could be arguably the worst in the league too, but I don't know. Like the way that they won definitely provided entertainment. And like you said, 2 wins is obviously better than at least like a quarter, maybe 20% of the league right now. So,
yeah, I mean, I think the Panthers are a fun watch when they want to be. Like when they go out and just put up stinkers, it kind of sucks. But like against the Pats, they put up a complete stinker, which I wasn't complaining because I was at the game. But
yeah,
I think they're a weird team where like Mikey likes to explain with the Falcons. I think that's going to be the Panthers, just like high highs and low lows.
Probably at home too.
Yeah, probably more low lows than high highs, but I don't know. To answer my inquiry from the MVP, so Josh Allen is plus 150 to win MVP right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And Mahomes is plus 400, Baker's plus 800, Stafford plus 1200, and guess who's tied with him? Jordan Love plus 1200. Interesting. Speaking of Baker, 4:00 window now. This was electric. I think I took a little power nap because I slept for 4 hours the night before. Woke up, caught the end of these second half end of these games. Had the Bucks plus 3.5. Thought that was a really good hook. They went outright, but crazy game back and forth. I feel like the Bucks always play these high energy games. So I think the Bucks are one of the more entertaining teams right now in the NFL. And same to the Seahawks, honestly. Like I think the Seahawks have made even that Thursday night game they had against the Cardinals, which was like not a lot of people were interested in that. They made that pretty interesting by the end. So I'm kind of high on both these teams just as a product, like watching both these teams play. But the Bucs, man, I think they're going to be a really good team. I think they're one of the top teams in the NFC, especially. Seahawks, we'll see. But I don't know what your takeaways were on this one. So what do you think?
I was very surprised by the line. I know the Bucs were banged up. We've talked about the past 2 weeks. I was also with you plus the 3.5. I also took a money line, which was nice for the 4:00 window after the Eagles fucking blew one of my 1:00 parlays. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's tough not to like Baker in this Bucs team. very scrappy, entertaining football, and they're always in entertaining games with late finishes, and they're pulling away. So with their record towards the top of the NFC, I can't agree with you more on being one of the top teams within that conference. And then also the injuries. Like, it's very difficult to not talk about how, like, Mike Evans didn't play and Mbuka stepped the fuck up and was arguably the best player on the field other than Baker as a rookie in his 5th game. So I think it's going to be a dangerous lineup whenever they're full strength with the wide receiver core. But yeah, I like this Bucs team. I'm not high on the Seahawks team. They could be entertaining, like you said, putting up points, but they don't seem like a team that can finish off games, especially this one, kind of a prime example, banged up roster at home, back and forth game. Sam Darnold loses. I mean, defense didn't look great, obviously, giving up 38 points. So
Fair enough. I don't know. I think if the Seahawks still like Sam Darnold, I mean, Sam Darnold has kind of held the test of time where a lot of people thought he might just be on fraud watch from being a Kevin O'Connell merchant.
yeah,
And I mean, they're still giving competition, so I'm excited. I'm not excited, but I'm just curious to see how he does moving forward. I think the Seahawks are like a fringe playoff team. Like, they might get the 7th seed and then just get smoked by the 2 seed type team, or just like not make it like last year, but we'll see about them. The big one of the day.
All right,
The Titans,
do not call this the big one of the day.
for the first time in
So
a while, the Titans have won a game. For the first time in a while, the Titans have covered a spread. I mean, to be honest, I woke up from my nap and they were dead, and all of a sudden they just kind of creep back into it. Very similar to that Cardinals-Panthers game where the Panthers kind of just came right back, although the Panthers didn't finish the job there. They were like, the Panthers were getting held up by the NFL, trying to let them win the game by the refs. The Titans didn't have any of that shit. I think the Titans are the least marketable team in the NFL right now. I'm willing to say that. But the Titans went
They've
outright.
got the number 1 overall pick. Come on.
Okay. bottom 3 least marketable teams. Who's with the Titans?
All of Nashville.
Yeah.
I'm saying that a team.
No. I would say the Panthers, honestly, like marketability-wise, them.
That's fair.
And I hate to say it, but when the Jets start 0-5.
No, the Jets are New York. The Jets are New York.
New York.
New York's more
baby.
powerful than just New York's more powerful by itself than half the teams in the NFL.
Maybe Miami, or probably Cincy without Joe.
I mean, I don't know. They're kind of a dumpster fire. People might like that. I don't know. I think the Titans. My point is the Titans have no. People love to hate it. People love the Brown story. I think my point is that
What's their
the Titans
story?
That they're fucking dog shit every year and they never do anything. So it's people
They can't find a quarterback in
Love that
half of a
story.
century.
They're the underdog. Were you not rooting for the Browns when they played in the playoffs with Baker?
What about the Jets? You don't love rooting for the Jets?
No one likes New York.
No.
Not everyone is for New York. My point was that the Titans kind of show a little bit more scrap even than the Panthers because they don't really have like the NFL backing them or whatever. Cam Ward missed my parlay, the 1+ touchdown from each rookie quarterback he didn't throw on, which I was disappointed. But I mean, feels good to finally get I feel like a monkey's off my back. The Titans have finally won a game and also covered a spread when I picked them. And I specifically jumped off the train, got back on. So this was a good win for me. Cam, I mean, there is some egg on your face, but I mean, I don't know what you want to say, about this game. You are traditionally a Cardinals hater, so
this shouldn't be an NFL game. Like this, like I don't know why.
What does that even mean?
Like the NFL putting this on the schedule is fucking atrocious. Like, honestly, also side note, I think all my NFC West bias, like hate, is based on this Cardinals team. This Cardinals team is so fucking disgusting. Did you even see how the Titans end up scoring one of their touchdowns?
Maybe.
There was one play where there was like 2 fumbles by each team on one play, and then the ball got like kicked into the end zone, and the Titans recovered it. It was so gross. Cardinals had them dead to rights, and then obviously let them in the game. And now I have to listen to the fucking Titans hype because they win one game by 1 point against arguably the second worst team in the NFL. So I don't know. I don't want to continue ranting, but that game should not be on my television ever.
Well, first of all, it doesn't have to be. Second of all, there's no Titans hype whatsoever. They're the least marketable team in the NFL.
No, I'm talking from you. I'm talking about all your Titan shit. Like, talking about it now. Like, I don't want to hear that.
That's fine. I'm sorry. Sorry.
That's a professional podcast right here.
Sorry, I'm just being a host. Okay, comments from the chat. Not really related to this game. We definitely will touch on this one. New quarterback Joe and Cincy. The boys, as you filled in on the trade news, I'm assuming Mikey's
Yes.
still on as well. Okay, so we'll discuss this when we get to the Bengals either now or later. William Kaufman rejoins us from the chat from last week. We are so back. Mikey, you weren't introduced to him, but one of my friends from school, they call him Michael Rappaport. Wait, where's the Mac Jones dude from last week? Well, first of all, you actually met him.
Yeah.
In Syracuse. He's a sub for the person on the right of your screen right now, the guy who looks like Sam Darnold. So he's out of the picture. This is the normal crew. We had Ryan as a sub. Yeah. So some clarifying questions there. We continue on to one that broke my heart, and I don't know what I'm going to do about this team. The Chargers continue to be a letdown, continue to be a parlay bummer, continue to be just bad news. Omarion Hampton's out for 4 weeks at least, and I mean, 2.5-point favorites, you get like kind of blown out and just beaten to a pulp by a Jaden Daniels coming off injury. Like, I don't know, this was a very discouraging loss for the Chargers. A team I'm high on, a team I have a future on to win the division. Now they sit at either 3-2 or 2-2. I think 3-2, but after, I mean, we kind of all took the Giants losses like, oh, it's just a fluke, whatever, they'll get back to it, and then you do this. So I'm not sure if Cam Muir is as angry as I am, but this was another one.
Yeah, I was.
The Giants were the worst ones of the day for me.
Yeah, I was in the same exact boat. This wasn't as bad as the Eagles loss for me in parlays, but obviously I had them straight up too, money line, separate. So definitely like a little stab in the side, but like you said, it's definitely a cause for concern for this Chargers team. Definition of a get right spot after that loss to the Giants. I know Jaden's played his ass off last year, coming off of an injury. Seems like everything was pointing the Chargers' way at home. Clearly, like you said, just got absolutely blown their doors off. Very depressing watching it, honestly. It wasn't even entertaining. It's pretty much over, I think, in probably a late second quarter, going into half. So, I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know how to react for this team, like, especially next week. So, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm at a crossroads with the Chargers. It might be time to hop off the train if this week doesn't provide the results I'm looking for. More comments from the chat. College doesn't count. I was on PEDs. Yeah, so actually, story time. We were at in the frat house, and I lived at the frat house. Rat and all them came up, and then we were drinking in the morning, or we were drinking last night, so we all got PD lights. And then this kid starts pouring alcohol into the Pedialytes. So we were just drinking like a fucking Pedialyte smoothie with fucking alcohol. It's terrible. Anyone I met get a one-time pass. I don't know what this means, so I'm just going to move on. Continuing on with the 4 o'clock slate, last game of the 4 o'clock slate. Lions, 10.5-point favorites, and this one was never really in doubt for me. The Bengals have just been awful ever since Joe Burrow departed the picture. Jake Browning. Clearly, America's done with Jake Browning. I'm done with Jake Browning. And the Bengals have finally decided to move on from Jake Browning. This is probably his last game starting, at least for now, for the Bengals. Lions look like they're right back to where they were last year and the year before, just being a dominant team, covering 10.5 points. Didn't watch any of this game. Wasn't on Red Zone, but I don't know, Kim, if you had any thoughts on this one. Kind of just as I expected. I think you had the Lions too as well. But
I did, yeah. I actually took them one of the few times I've ever bet the spread, honestly, because I usually don't touch the spread, even though I actually, via this podcast, I've done pretty successful doing so. But I thought this was arguably the easiest bet for me this week was Lions minus 10.5. I also found out after our program that David Montgomery's from Cincinnati. So had him in a few touchdown parlays that ended up hitting. Was very nervous when he threw the touchdown. I was like, fuck, that's the one play that's going to cost me for him to rush for a touchdown. But thankfully ended up finding the paint. Like you said, this Lions team's kind of returned to dominance. I think that we talked about last week, that week 1 loss to the Packers was a perfect wake-up kick in the ass for them going on for the rest of the year. Obviously, it's the Bengals with Jake Browning, so you can't judge too much on this, but obviously they put him away pretty much from the get-go. So I mean, I like him moving forward.
All right. The comment from the chat from someone who's there for the story I said. True. So John Brandon is verifying the story. Continuing on, game of the year for us Patriots fans. This one was probably the biggest win in I don't know how many years. I mean, we did beat the
5.
Bills 2 years ago with Mac, but that kind of felt like a flash in the pan, especially what happened after. The hype is real. I've watched a really insane hype TikTok of that one throw Drake had to Stephon Diggs, just masterclass. I mean, Cam, you said you want to go on about this game, so I'll let you kind of lead us off here. What was your feelings, emotions? Let it fly.
It was, so I don't know if you guys caught the beginning of the pod, but I actually went to a Bills bar for this game for the first half. Got a little intense. Maybe I said some words that I shouldn't have said, but going into the half tied against the Bills on Sunday night in Buffalo, that already to me felt like, hey, this team can actually compete. I know it's a divisional game. We talked about the Pats relatively playing the Bills close, even without Drake previously. But just the way that Drake bounced back in that second half, the pressures that he was facing and being able to deliver outside the pocket, on the move, had some huge throws. And you couldn't have honestly made a better storyline ending for us as Patriots fans, with Pat's not only turning the ball over for the bit, like forcing turnovers against Josh Allen, the MVP of the league, and then James Cook, who someone's campaign said that is the best running back in the league. But obviously, like, that offense is extremely dangerous, with not kind of like a very similar old school Pats offense where they don't necessarily have a stud, but they have a lot of guys that do their job and can catch a ball and make plays with it, not doing anything too crazy. And defense held its own, holding that team to under 20 or less. Was not expecting that, honestly. I thought it was going to be more towards high 20s, low 30s kind of game. But then obviously Pat's getting the ball back. Drake getting a 2-minute drive, has never had a game-winning drive in his career so far. Leading the team down the field, and then fucking almost had a heart attack with Borgalis' bitch-ass arm sleeve walking onto the field.
Yeah.
We need to seriously talk. Like, this guy needs, I don't know. The problem is I'm afraid he's going to do like 2 arm sleeve, like, and then like a visor or something now that he's kicked a game winner. But
I don't think Casey liked the earring either.
Yeah, no. I mean, that guy needs to calm the fuck down as a rookie kicker. But especially after missing 2 PATs to almost blow the game against the Dolphins. But that's in the past. Like I said, great storyline for, obviously there's been a lot of hype around Drake May, not just from us as Patriots fans, but national media expecting this year to jump, especially with Vrabel taking over at the helm. Just overall, I mean, still a lot of things to clean up. A lot of penalties, a lot of sloppy play. Obviously, Lamondre still can't hold on to the fucking football, even though he scored 2 touchdowns. That's very concerning, especially with Gibson being out. He's going to be our main featured back until Henderson, they have enough faith in him to take over that role, I think. But, I mean, like I said, it's just very encouraging as a Patriots fan. Obviously, you can't have a fucking letdown spot this week, but I'm enjoying it. Hopefully, they've moved on or refocused for this week, but that's kind of my 2 cents. Not sure if you had any additional thoughts. Also, Diggs fucking, I mean, played his ass off. And you obviously haven't seen him on the sideline like that if you watch the game. Just very into it with the entire team, not just the receiver corps or Drake. But you could tell that game meant something to him. I need him to carry that passion. Maybe it's going to be a significant amount less because it's not his former team, not prime time. But still, like, I mean, I can't say enough about that game. I think everything was perfect. From Drake May's perspective, and gives me a lot of hope for the future, not just this year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm slightly more reserved just because I do think we do play Buffalo pretty well, and a lot of people are actually like kind of on us to win this game outright, or to just cover the spread, win this game outright. That being said, though, to actually go out there and do it, very impressive win. Undefeated Bills team, like Drake May, I'm fully sold on Drake May. I already kind of was anyways, but this just reaffirms everything I know. The Ramondre fumble is like mind-numbing, like just straight in at this point, but now Gibson's out for the year, so not going to happen.
Yeah.
Diggs, I think Diggs is the man, and what they've been doing the last 2 weeks with him actually getting the ball and being in the slot is way better than freaking 5'7"
fucking bitch ass. Yeah.
Pop Douglas and whoever else you're trying out there. I mean, I don't know. They kind of buried Kyle Williams too, which I found weird. And obviously Drake and I has his favorites in Booty and Hunter, but to him actually get the ball to Diggs, who's like an actual star receiver, it's really cool. So this was like a great watch. Kind of nerve wracking, but in a good way. Like you're in it now. We're 3-2. Schedule looks really light, which we'll get to this week and weeks moving forward. But if they can just do their job like the old days, I think we could be like at least in the picture. So Michael, this is the one game you checked out of the week. You're a neutral fan. What were your takeaways in this game?
Yeah, this was the one game that I watched this week. I watched the majority of it. There was baseball going on though, so I did also have that on. I felt like this game was one of those games that the Bills play that they are in control on the field, but not on the scoreboard. Like they played in the first half and most way through the third quarter, like they should have been up by 10 and it was like a tie game or a 3-point game or something. Like that's I feel like one of their big issues is playing like they have a big lead when they actually don't, because they know they have the guys in their team to get it done in the fourth quarter when it matters most. And then in the fourth quarter, you saw the Patriots take control rather than Josh Allen and the Bills. And that last drive was awesome from Drake, and some of those throws and catches. That one that he was getting his arm torn off and then threw it to Diggs, who like wasn't paying attention at all and somehow ended up with the ball. Sick. Yeah, great win for the Pats. Being 3-2 at this point, I feel like it's all you could ask for going into the year. Probably better. I feel like you probably would have signed for 2-3 at this point. But 3-2 is awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
What a respected gentleman.
Yep.
All right. Anything else we had to add on this one before we head to Monday night?
No, sir.
Okay. Another pretty good game. Turned this one on like fourth quarter. Very interesting back and forth. The Chiefs are 2-3, and the Jaguars are 4-1. So big win in what?
That's a crazy sentence.
It's true. It's
It
really
doesn't
true.
make sense.
It does make sense for us who saw the vision. Well, not the Chiefs part, but
I saw the vision.
Jags 4-1, Chiefs 2-3. Obviously, Jags big drive, big very back and forth game. Really an interesting, actually entertaining game to watch. I think I think all the primetime games provided, even including the London game. So I was actually pretty interested in those games. I feel like the Sunday games were here and there, but I don't know. Cam, you've been a Jaguars doubter. Is it time to flip the switch and become a believer? And also on the same coin, the Chiefs are 2-3. Are they, as they would say about the Pats dynasty, is it over, or is it just kind of like a retool phase, or do you think they're still here? Just tough schedule.
You can't determine the dynasty is over until the playoffs happen. I mean, everybody was doubting Tom in basically his entire second half of his career before he obviously won 3 more Super Bowls. So obviously, like, that part of the dynasty was over. You can't rule this team out until they actually lose in the playoffs or not even make the playoffs. Don't think that will happen, but this Chiefs team definitely has some work to get done. But Jaguars, I might be trying to ease up to the fact that they're an okay football team. Obviously, it's a big win. I don't know. The issue is I feel like we like to talk about it on this podcast that the primetime games are usually much closer and tighter for both teams score-wise as opposed to a normal 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock game. I don't know if I want to put that narrative on this game because the Jaguars actually looked pretty decent throughout. They handled them. I do think that last play is just kind of the worst way you could lose if you're the Chiefs. It's I don't know. I mean, there's both. Every team has something to work on, but both of these teams need to prove a lot more for me to have much more confidence in them. I know the Jags are 4-1, but I mean, it's going to be interesting because they play in the AFC South. Going to have some easy wins against Tennessee, obviously. I'm mainly looking forward to the Colts and the Jags. That matchup will kind of put me in the mindset of where these teams are. because I could easily see it being a shootout or being a dogfight. And then that'll put them – I feel like they're in the same group of you don't know how well they are based on the competition of play. Obviously, you got to lean more towards the Jags on this debate since they just beat the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. But I don't know. I'm not a huge Trevor Lawrence believer, at least in the NFL so far. But I don't really have much takeaways from this game regarding betting. So
I'm just trying to find the next Colts Jags game. More comments in the chat. Top 5 brands to have on a hat. Any thoughts on this comment?
Miller Lite, maybe? Number 1?
Miller Lite has to be in that list. The same wavelength right there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rat, for the birthday gift. AFC South, best division in football. Cam?
Absolutely not. I know he's just trying to rile me up. I haven't even finished the Quattro yet. Or shout out to our official sponsor, Four Loko, as well.
Yeah, Mikey's just drinking a Miller and have a Miller hat on, but Quattro is our freaking sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but absolutely not. I feel like this division's kind of going to implode, and there's just been too much hype around, especially the Jags and the Colts. Obviously, the Texans have been under the radar with the losses they've had so far this year, but I think there's going to be a significant downturn once you hit towards the middle of the season, back end of the year.
I really couldn't find these games. Join us the stream before December 7th to find out who will pick in the Jags and the Colts, and then they play in week 17. Wait, dude in the middle pounding a loco on a government Wednesday get instant respect. Reminds me of a younger version of myself.
Thank you. I like that guy.
Okay.
The government
someone
The first commenter that's actually somewhat tolerable.
Okay. All right. So week 5 was certainly a week that happened. Honestly, like talking about all the games is kind of better than I remembered it being. So good job, NFL. We head to week 6, where tomorrow night we'll have an NFC East divisional matchup. The Philadelphia Eagles visiting the Giants. I did notice I didn't do my usual preparation of the spreads, but I did see this at 7.5. It is down to 7 on the green. So Cam, as always, is our spread leader. Take us away. Eagles at Giants +7. What do you see on this fine Thursday night football game?
I know it's kind of tough after the Giants loss. You think it might be a divisional matchup, primetime game at home. They might keep it within a 1-score game, but I also think it's a massive get-right spot for the Eagles coming off of that brutal loss to Denver. I think everybody's talking about them not playing up to their potential, and I feel like that gets into the locker room and they pound the Giants to fucking death in this game. I think they win by at least 10, honestly. So I'm going with the Eagles -7 here.
All right. Michael, will you be backing the fellow New York team to cover the spread?
I will.
Dark.
And I think it's more just like how Thursday night football usually goes. Close, low-scoring games. It's sort of like I obviously don't have any faith in the Giants winning this game. But the Eagles haven't blown anybody out. They let teams back into games, and they don't score a lot of points. Like, I think, have they scored 30 this year? They probably have, but I don't know. And the Giants, sure, you could get a crazy Jackson Dart run and a Scatabo, I'm going to run your face over little thing and get into the end zone. But that's kind of all they do. So I could see this being like a 17-13 game or something like that. Low scoring. And Giants cover.
So the Eagles scored 31 points against the Bucs and 33 points against the Rams.
All right. No, I don't care about those games.
I'm with Cam. I'm taking the Eagles. I don't know. The Giants are in the basement. These teams also have another matchup in 2 weeks, which I'm looking at the schedule now. That's going to be weird. But I think the Eagles are in a get-back spot where kind of like almost an embarrassing loss to the Broncos. Granted, the Broncos are a good team, but you're at home. And the way that fan base is, they're going to want to see the Eagles just pedal to the metal, no stop. So I think, honestly, the Eagles might win by 10 to 14 points. I don't know. I don't trust Dart with no neighbors. Also, like, you're losing to the Saints by 2 touchdowns. Granted, you're at home now. It is Thursday night. Things get interesting, but I think it's going to be one of those Thursday night games that were like, oh, this is like a really bad game that just no one cared about. And we don't even have to turn on because the Eagles will be up like 24-7 at halftime or something like that. I got the Eagles winning by a large margin. Just seem like, or trust their program way more at this point, trust their quarterback, trust even their defense a little bit more. And a take that I just thought of that I didn't even put in my Focus 5. I think this could be an easy spot for somebody like A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith, both guys who have been frustrated in the Eagles offense, to like really have a game like 100-plus yards for one of them, either of them. I don't know. But I think that's something I see on the horizon. So I got the Eagles covering the spread. Up 7 points. 7.5 is an interesting question, but now it's down to 7. Definitely taking the Eagles. Okay. Now, Sunday morning, there's another New York football team in prime time. Michael, it is your turn to start us out. Your Jets are plus 7.5. Is this a London game or is this just another random international spot?
They are in London.
They're in London. What do you think here?
I'm not looking forward to this game.
That's good.
Yeah. Nothing really good happens when the Jets go to London. And they always try and go because their owner was the ambassador to England for a while.
When do good things happen to the Jets?
In like 2015.
Oh, okay. With Mark, who's
Nope.
now
With Fitzmagic.
okay. Fair.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jets here. Just because I have taken them every time I've been on the pod. So We're going to continue the roll. Denver also, they seem like they play a bunch of close games. Jets hopefully can lock in on the defensive end and keep them below 30 points because that would be a surprise, I guess.
That's a good goal going into the week.
I'm hoping that this game is a turning point for them. Get away for a week. They've been in London since Monday, I think. Get away, lock in, be with the squad. Maybe Aaron Glenn takes over defensive play calling.
I love how this is like the big moment of the season. Is like when
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn take over defensive play calling. I'm sorry.
Well, their defense has been horrible, and they run the exact same thing every single play. It's like, I'm going to have 2 safeties back. Oh, look it's cover 2. I'm going to have 1 safety back. Oh, look, it's cover 1. The quarterback of the other team knows exactly what they're doing every single time. So, yeah. Aaron Glenn, be the defensive coordinator and be better than...
Someone clip it. Send it to Aaron.
I'm sure they have.
Also taking the Jets. I just think Sunday morning, Broncos might fall asleep at the wheel after the big win last week. Might be a look-ahead spot for the Broncos. And, yeah, like I feel like, I don't know. We always get confused with the Broncos. Like I feel like we were talking about them either blowing teams out or not. I don't know. They did blow out the Bengals.
That was last year.
Okay. New year. Only beat the Titans by 8. So, I'm going to hang my head on that one week 1 game the whole year. No, but I think 7.5 is too much for the Jets. I think they're in desperation mode. I think a lot of some people are asking for Aaron Glenn to be fired, which is crazy. And I mean, the Jets still have really good players that if they just want to clock in, they can. And Justin Fields is back. So I think 7.5 is too much. I'm seeing 6.5 now on the ESPN bet, but luckily we used the green. Over under is also pretty low in this game, so that kind of leans towards the Jets side of covering. I got the Jets plus 7.5. Cam, will you be riding with the green gang or whatever the Jets fans are?
That was disgusting. I originally saw it as 6.5, as you mentioned, but for the sake of the pod, 7.5. I'm still going to stick with my gut, going with the Broncos here. I'm probably going to continue to bet against the Jets until they prove me wrong. Mikey's talked about defense stepping up in a game when we just shit on them for their defense being the main Achilles heel the entire year. So I think this Broncos team, I know it's kind of a letdown spot after that huge win against the Eagles on the road, but maybe they carry that momentum into London. This was one of the tougher games for me to pick, honestly. especially with the 7.5 spread. But I'll go against the grain here and take the Broncos minus the points.
All right. Big comments from the chat, a bunch of interactions happening here. So first, someone who will be joining us later on this call, presumably Mark, says, I seriously don't understand how anyone could be a Jets fan. Michael, your response?
No.
Okay.
No.
He has a question for you. You're a Jets fan? Use the wrong "you're."
I am.
Okay.
And so were you once.
William says, Mark, they are born into it because their grandpa saw Joe Namath smoke a cig in the 60s. Is that true?
It could be.
Okay, something to ponder. I'm so sorry. Blame your parents for child abuse for allowing you to become a Jets fan. Wow.
I would agree with that, actually.
Okay, Mark.
Blake has joined us and says, I need to start Hall, Wilson, and Taylor this week. Go Jets, LOL. Mason Taylor, big legacy week this week in London?
Honestly, that's not even the worst thing. They're the only 3 people on the Jets that do anything on offense. So
What, is Braylon Allen just become irrelevant?
he tore his MCL or something.
That's tough.
Like week 2, I think. So
Baseball update. Shout out Ryan McMahon. Tie game in the Bronx. I'm sure we'll all be locked into that. So
don't care.
Nah, I'm hate watching the Yanks. I think we all are on the spot.
Yeah.
Next one. Sunday. Yay. Cardinals, Colts. Colts at home. They got the 7. I'll start this one out. I don't love it, but I'm taking the Cardinals. We'll just continue to fade. We'll continue to fade the Colts. I think this one could be an instant classic. I think it's gonna be a back and forth game. I think at the end of the 1 o'clock window, this will be like Scott Hansen, like trying to pretend like he cares about football game. I just think when you see these two teams, it just screams out close game to me. Cardinals coming off a terrible loss last week, and they kind of had a shit week the week after they almost lost to the Panthers. But they almost beat the Seahawks that week. So I'm taking the Cardinals. I'm just never going to pick the Colts. I'm not a believer in this Colts team at all. Cardinals have lost 3 in a row, but Call of Duty doesn't come out for another month. So I think they'll be okay to cover the spread. +7 Cardinals. Let's go. Cam, you're distraught.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite picks of the entire week. Please give me the Colts minus the 7. They might win by 14. This Cardinals team is fucking atrocious. I don't care if the new COD is out or not for Kyler. I think he's cooked. I think this Cardinals team's cooked. On the road, -7 against a team that's been playing relatively good football against shitty teams. No matter what you want to say, sure, their opposing team's record is atrocious, but the Cardinals are also a part of that, so can't really rule that out. Give me the Colts here minus the 7. Seems like a pretty much done deal for me.
Doesn't that ring some alarm bells for you?
No, not with the Cardinals.
Okay.
No.
All right, Michael.
I'm with Cam, and there are no alarm bells ringing in my head.
Thank you.
I'm locked in on the Colts. I think the Cardinals are 0-3 since James Conner got hurt, and they've had no signs of life. And Colts beat up on bad teams. So, easy.
2 in a row, though? I don't know, man.
4-1?
Colts frauds, man, I'm telling you. Comment from the chat here. Baseball. If Yanks against Afghanistan, I'm in the crowd with an AK and a burqa. I kind of agree with that. That's crazy to this is your thoughts?
No thoughts.
Okay. We move ahead to a game that was, I think, my least favorite game to pick. Cowboys at Panthers +3.
Really?
I think so, yeah. Cam, you mentioned the nugget of the Panthers being...
It wasn't Titans Raiders?
No, I'd love to pick that game. Cowboys, Panthers +3. I think, Cam, you said the Panthers are undefeated at home. What will you be taking in this one? Cowboys, obviously, electric offense, but the Panthers have been kind of hit or miss. So what do you think happens here?
I just really don't like the Cowboys. Even just growing up, I've never been a fan of them. I always thought they've been extremely overrated. National media is always surrounding them, even though they've been mediocre at best throughout our childhoods. So I like the Panthers plus the points here at home. Like I said, 2-0, riding a little bit of a high. Chubb is questionable. Might be a little interesting to see how if he does play, if they split carries with him and Dowdle after his game last week. But I think the Panthers, can outright win this game, honestly. So I'll take the Panthers plus the points here.
All right, Michael.
I'm going to be taking the Cowboys in this one. Panthers coming in on a high. Cowboys have, I think, too high-powered of an offense for this Panthers team to keep up with. Even with CD out, George Pickens has been electric since he's gone down. Yeah, I mean, Panthers can't have so much of a nice thing, right?
Fair.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think ups and downs for the Panthers all season. I think, are the Cowboys 2-3 or 3-2?
I want to say 2-3.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for the Panthers. They're 2-2-1. My bad. I think it makes more sense for the Cowboys to win this game. And if they do, I think it'll be by just completely outscoring the Panthers offense, which sometimes can just be completely irrelevant. Especially if Chuba isn't able to go, I think I'd actually hammer the Cowboys in this game. I'd be a lot more confident, but he kind of provides something for them on offense. So this ESPN bet has a 3. I'm going to stop saying ESPN bet lines. 3 points. I like the Cowboys to cover a field goal. Even if it's a field goal, that's a push. So I think the Cowboys are just a better team on offense, especially. I don't rank the Panthers defense super highly, so I think they'll win by at least 3 points. Over game. So maybe a preview of a later segment, little strategy release there, but we'll have to see what the picks are later in the DOUF. And then one commenter in the chat is hoping for a tie. One rat who spoke on the Packers Cowboys tie. So the Cowboys looking at 2 ties. That'd be funny. But do you see a tie potential in this game?
I do. It's possible. That's classic Panthers / Cowboys football. I mean,
yeah, I can see it, to be honest.
That'd be electric 2-2-2 record for the Cowboys.
2-2-2, yeah, that'd actually be high. All right, keep it on with the 1 o'clock slate. We have Dillon Gabriel, the aforementioned, heads to his second start on the road in Pittsburgh. Michael, we didn't get to hear your thoughts on Dillon Gabriel and this Browns team revamped with no Joe. What do you think their odds are against the Steelers at home off a bye week? -5.5.
I think the Steelers are a good football team. They're going to win this, but I think the Browns will cover. I think you may have seen enough from the Browns defensively and enough offensively to have a slight bit of confidence for them to keep it close. Even if it's a backdoor cover, I don't know. I'm taking the Browns.
Okay. I'm with you. I'm taking the Browns. Was pretty inspired by just liked what I saw of Dillon Gabriel last week. I think they're going to keep it close. And these two teams, especially AFC North, I feel is a grinded out kind of division. I think it's going to be a running, a Quinshon Judkins versus, I don't know if Jalen Warren's back, but I think it's going to be a very low scoring running game that helps favor the team who's given 5.5 points. And there is that new quarterback boost. There's not a ton of film out on Dillon Gabriel right now. Rodgers, I feel has kind of skated by with the Steelers, to be honest. Barely beat the Jets, barely beat the Pats. Pats kind of gave them the win on their own. So I think the Steelers are a little bit overrated. And, I mean, they did beat the Vikings in London, but, I don't know, they almost lost that one as well. I think the Steelers have played a pretty close game against everyone they played and won. So even if you think the Steelers are going to win, I think the Browns cover 5.5 is easy for me. We'll kick it to you, Cam, for either a clean sweep or lone man taking the Steelers.
No, unfortunately, we're going to have our first team ride of the night. Agree with everything you guys said. I think one underrated thing you guys didn't touch upon is this divisional matchup. I feel like the Browns always play the Steelers close, and I think it was either last year or 2 years ago when they won outright with obviously a much, much worse team. So I think this, like you said, there's been a lot of optimism for what optimism definitions is for the Browns fans, but I think they've played much better this year than they have in years past. Defense looks really good. And then you got a little livelihood. You talked about the new quarterback boost. Judkins has obviously been running well since he's came back. So I'm taking the Browns plus 5.5. If you're getting really frisky out there, maybe sprinkle money line. I might take it on Sunday, just for little shits and gigs. But yeah, I'm gonna do clean sweep here. Browns plus 5.5.
All right. Team Rod in that one. Comment from the chat. Shadur Sanders for Rookie of the Week. Vote now.
Can you bet on that?
You can't bet on it, but he's saying to vote. I think it's like a fan-led vote.
They won't even commit to him being the backup. But you know who else is there? Mr. Zappy.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he got
He's
cut.
competing for the backup job right now.
Okay. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, he's on the Browns. Okay. Good for him. Bailey Zappi.
Not good for him.
Bailey Zappi is not good at football. It's kind of down on the hill. But next one, Rams-Ravens. Ravens, no Lamar, looks like we mentioned before, plus 7.5. Cooper Rush again. Versus the Rams, I am going to take the team that is the underdog, the Ravens, plus 7.5. I don't know. Once again, I was kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like this slate's just really weird.
Don't say body clock. Just say body clock.
No, I didn't say it. I didn't.
Okay.
I wasn't even thinking that at all.
Did I say it?
Then you brought it up.
No.
That
No
thought
discussion
literally
of
didn't even
body
enter my head at all. I was just like, 7.5 is probably too much because the Ravens will bounce back from last week where they got completely embarrassed at home again. Rams have been, Rams did lose last week, so this could be like if you're taking the Rams, you think they're going to bounce back. But I think both teams bounce back and the Rams do win, but the Ravens just cover that 7.5. Like I think maybe like a Rams 27, Ravens 23 type game. Like Rams are kind of in control of the whole game, maybe backdoor cover by the Ravens. But I think 7.5 is too much. The Ravens just have a lot of talent. They still have Derrick Henry, still have Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, everyone on defense. They still have Harbaugh. And what I'm saying with this Ravens team is like they got to start getting their shit together, else this shit's going to implode. So I'm taking the Ravens to cover 7.5. We'll kick it to you, Ken. What do you think for this game?
I agree with the majority of your logic there. But I also really like the Rams coming off of a long week, played on Thursday, have a little bit more time to prepare. I also just don't know how this Ravens team is going to do without Lamar. I made the mistake last week with the same mindset of, hey, they need to get their shit together, and this is the perfect spot to do so. And obviously fell flat on his face. So not going to make the same mistake twice, even though it's not like you said, it's a very convincing argument. I'll take the Rams minus a 7.5 on the long week. I think they're I think they are a better team than Texans from what I've seen so far this year, especially on the offensive side of the football. So I'm going to go with the Rams minus 7.5.
Michael, you have a tie to break.
I'll also be taking the Rams in this one. I think it was Stubb who said earlier that Cooper Rush, his magic had worn out. I think that is true. And Cooper Rush against Matt Stafford. I'm taking Matt Stafford every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
7.5 is a different ball game, though.
What was it last week?
Is it though? Was it like 40-10 they just lost?
What was the spread last week? Was it 7.5 too?
No, it was Texans minus 1.5.
Oh, really? It was basically pick 'em?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rams by a lot.
Okay. I feel like sneaky. You guys always like to talk about teams that don't blow teams out. I feel like the Rams have never blown a team out. I mean, they only did the Titans by 14. All right. Next one. A team, Cam, that we're kind of have in purgatory right now. We don't know if we like them. If we like, well, I don't know if purgatory is like in a holding cell. The Chargers. Mm-hmm. We don't know if we like them. We don't know if we're done with them. They head to Miami, and they're 4.5-point favorites. What do you think for this game?
You're right. I'm definitely on hold with them. Little pessimistic, but also I couldn't be more pessimistic about this Dolphins team. Don't really think that game against the Panthers was obviously going up 17-0, pretty impressive offense, but then completely fell apart in the second half. I know we've talked about the Chargers, especially the past 2 weeks, being a little iffy, but I think hopefully this is the get-back spot we were expecting last week. I'm going to go with the Chargers here, minus 4.5. Just feel like they're a much better team overall. Can't really see this game being close, even though it's in Miami.
Michael?
Yep. All the same from me. I know I've been saying since like week 2 that Mike McDaniels was on the chopping block, but
yeah, you said he's gonna get fired for the week 3 Thursday night football game.
Yeah, and if I lost, I think I would have been right.
They did lose.
Or well, if it was bad, they had that was against the Bills, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually a good game.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's still the first coach fired in the NFL. I don't know if it's this week, but it's probably before week 10. And I think coaching battle here goes to the Chargers. I think quarterback battle goes to the Chargers. That's kind of what you look for when you're doing these games. So
I think
yeah, I'm
any
taking the Chargers.
honestly, I mean weapons, I'd
I
go
think if you look
Chargers.
at if you look at any aspect
Defense,
of
I
the
just
team,
think overall, yeah.
which is why I'm also taking the Chargers. I think there is something to be said also for the Tua versus Herbert. They were like the two guys in the 2020 draft class behind Burrow. I think that Herbert will be motivated to show up here, especially after an embarrassing loss to the Giants and then just an actually even worse embarrassing loss to the Commanders. It has to be like I trust Jim Harbaugh and I know he's a good football coach. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I think there's no
Really?
choice.
When did you see it?
When
When
you
they won
see
the
it?
national championship against everybody,
You were
and
there in the building?
yes,
Boots on the ground.
my alias is Connor Stallions. Okay. No, but I feel like Jim's got to get the boys right for this game. Like, how do you? I don't see how the Dolphins even cover this spread. And like, I've been even higher on the Dolphins than you guys have. Like, I think they can cover spreads and spots, but this is not when I'm looking to take them. I think the Chargers, I think, have shown they've been able to cover some of these spreads. I think Chargers win this game by at least 2 scores, hopefully, and we can get back right on the Chargers bandwagon and forget everything that happened the past couple weeks. Okay, next one. Hometown cooking, Patriots at Saints. This, like, from just an outsider perspective, I feel like I'd be looking at this one like crazy and be like, what am I supposed to be seeing here? Where's the rat line? Is this a rat line? Because this is the one that made the least sense to me. We'll start with you, Michael. What do you have to say about this game?
It's very interesting. You're correct. This and one other game I was looking at as spots where teams got big wins and then shit the bed. I think the Saints have something. There's something to be said about being in New Orleans. There's something to be said about 3.5. Pat's coming off that super big win, riding high. You never know. This is one of the harder ones on the board, obviously. But I ended up taking the Saints.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the team ride. You want to go, Dub, or you want me to go?
I mean, I'm just taking the Pats. I feel like this might be the most like bet on team is Pats minus 3.5, and which might just win by 3. Which granted I'll be happy, but this is just such an odd line to me, and maybe it's because we don't really blow teams out either. Like I don't obviously, well, we did blow out the Panthers, so I don't know. I don't really know what this is about. That was at home. There is something like this is like when I try to channel Vegas and think about what they're thinking. This is like the line that screams out to the most to me, which is weird because it's also my favorite team that I'm going to be watching. So it's a hard decision where like everything's kind of telling me. Well, things are telling me to go with the Saints here for no reason though. Like I don't know why. Like they beat the Giants, now all of a sudden they get 3.5. I got to go with the Pats. It's just coming off a high. Like feels like the Pats are in it. They're locked in. Drake May is good, and it's Spencer Rattler. They got their one win. They got their charity win last week. So it's like I don't know why it's so low. But I'm taking the Pats minus 3.5. It has to be. Okay.
So I will be boots on the ground for this game.
Woj bomb. Whoa.
Yeah, so I'll be boots on the ground in New Orleans. You're
I think
right.
we knew that. We didn't.
Yeah,
we knew
I brought
that.
it up. Dub just forgot. It's all right. But
Lock in, kid.
the spread, like you guys said, it is a little fishy when you first look at it. But as someone that I've mentioned continuously on this podcast, bets with my heart, not my head, especially when it comes with the Pats. I can't imagine this Pats. Like Dub said, it is tough with the hook, the 3.5. This Pats team could easily just win by 3. But in my head, that's still, I don't give a shit. As long as the Pats win. But I'm taking the 3.5. It's going to be a tough environment in New Orleans, but kind of like I mentioned earlier on and Dub just mentioned, they got their win. Like, if the Saints were winless, going into this game, I'd be a little bit more concerned, honestly, to reeks of a trap game. And then the Pats coming off their biggest win in half of a decade, then going into the Saints team that's been winless, arguably like the starting quarterback hasn't won a game in the NFL. Well, now he has it under his belt. I think you take that big win. Obviously, it's still going to loom around in your head there, but I think Vrabel will get these guys locked in, ready to move on, go on to the next week. I'm not saying it's going to be a beatdown, but I think the Pats can cover the 3.5 here on the road.
All right. We do have a comment from the chat. Hammer Pats. So public is riding with the Pats as well. I'm assuming it'll be a big spot for Vegas to want the Saints to cover this and win the game outright, which would be heartbreaking. Next game, we head to still 1 o'clock. Seahawks at Jags. An interesting one where these teams are kind of in the same realm for me. Granted, the Jags are 4-1, Seahawks 3-2. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I just think it's not great, but they've shown the ability. I feel like if they put a couple road games, they've been good. Jaguars, I think, are just whenever a team's riding too high and has too much momentum, I'm like, they're going to lose this game. So it is a close spread. And I think Sam Darnold and Trevor Lawrence, that's a good little debate right there. Who do you think's better quarterback? But I got the Seahawks going into Jacksonville, covering the 1.5. Maybe they could even lose this game by 1 point, but I think they'll win outright. I have a feeling that this is the Jags or the Seahawks. I keep saying I got the Seahawks. Cam, we'll kick it to you.
Yeah, this one was interesting. This was probably the toughest game for me to bet on, honestly. Mainly because Jags coming off that big win Monday night, short week. Seahawks on the road, though. This Jags team, I feel like I'm more confident in. The divisions both kind of line up where I'm anti both of them. I haven't seen the Seahawks really finish out a game against good competition yet. Not calling the Jags great competition, but clearly they've won 4 of their last 5, so they're doing something right. I think they continue to pound that drum. I don't know. I'm going Jags minus 1.5. Might be the first time taking them. Or actually, I took them last week against the spread, but I like the Jags to win this game, potentially by a field goal or more. So I'll go with that minus the 1.5.
Same for me.
Yeah.
Taking the Jags here. I do like the Seahawks. I'm fine with them being 3-3 after this week. I feel like that's about where they should be. I don't love the fact that the Jags would be 5-1. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Body clock game.
Okay. Here we go.
And I don't know. I feel like the Jags just like kind of have this like win however we can sort of vibe about them.
Agreed.
Like the super suspect play to end that Chiefs game. Like they've done it a couple times. Trav's led a couple late fourth quarter drives. That's been good to see out of him. And yeah, this will definitely be a close game. I'm looking forward to it. Taking the Jags, and Dub is not back yet.
I feel like I haven't seen too much of Travis Hunter up until this week. I don't know if it was because it was on prime time. It was the only game that was on Monday, but I'm surprised they haven't involved him more in their offensive game plan and taken him away from the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if you two either had thoughts on that, but I don't know. He made one insane catch, basically flipping over in between 2 defenders, where it seems like that's a guy I need on offense almost every single down. Granted, he has played pretty well on defense, obviously in college, but I feel like even now, I feel like when he's on the field on defense, he's held his own. But when you're making plays like that on the offensive side of the ball, kind of, especially pairing him up with Brian Thomas on the other side, I feel like this offense could be much more explosive. So I wasn't sure if you guys had any thoughts on Travis Hunter specifically.
I don't know. It's been weird where like I keep hearing about him, but every time I'm watching the game, I don't see him like really. I guess he had a good game, but I was only watching the fourth quarter, so I didn't really see much of him. I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts. I feel like he's been kind of disappointing for what we're led to believe so far. But.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, I think it's just his play count.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The whole
Limited on both sides.
When he plays, he does well. I saw his PFF grades were like him on offense versus him on defense were both top 10 in the league of rookies. Like out of offensive players and defensive rookies,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like he's playing well when he's out there. They just have to figure out what's the best mix, I feel like, and when to play offense, when to play defense. Because I feel like if they're up by 3 or whatever, do you want him playing offense to keep scoring, or do you want him playing defense to hold the other team? Like it's just like a weird vibe
Yeah.
that
No,
they have to
agreed.
figure out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll have to see the usage of Travis Hunter in the future. Before we get to our next game, as always, we got more comments. I'm assuming you guys made fun of me when I got up, which is fine. Get it together.
We did not. We didn't even acknowledge it.
Great time to get up from the chair for a reset. Pro level move. Yes, that's exactly what I was doing. Okay. The biggest game of the slate. Titans at Raiders. This Raiders team had the week 1 win against the Patriots. Now 4.5-point favorites at home against Tennessee. I think, Cam, if we were to do our segment from last week, the bottom 5 teams, I think the Raiders would have entered that conversation. So I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on a team you hate visiting, a team that has been on a massive decline, getting 4.5 points. What do you have to say here?
Ban list basically is the 2 words I want to say. Ban list. Give me the Raiders minus 4.5. Feel like I don't even want to call it a get back spot, just because any team that plays the Titans should be a bounce back spot unless your team is named the Cardinals. So love the Raiders here at home, coming off of several losses. Everyone's been talking about how much of a disappointment they've been after that week 1 win against the Pats. Going against the worst team in the league. Give me the Raiders here minus 4.5, please, and thank you.
Michael?
I'm gonna take the Titans. I don't know. This is just kind of I had all the other picks made and I just made this one. This is the worst game on the board to pick.
No shit, it's the worst game on the board.
This was my worst. Because, I mean, how can you trust the Raiders after what we've seen from them? How can you trust the Titans coming off of their first win of the year? But it was a shitty win against the shitty Cardinals by 1.
Thank you.
I don't know.
By the way, this is one of 3 games we're getting at 4 o'clock on Sunday. And this is the first one to start, while the other 2 don't start till 4:25.
That's good. That's good.
I will not watch a second of this game, just so you guys know.
That's cap.
I don't believe you either. I think you will.
Nah, I'll be leaving the Pats celebrating the win, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
True. Whatever.
W?
As always, my pick is very highly anticipated when the Tennessee Titans are involved. I will say, I've been led astray by a certain Raiders fan who's commenting in the chat. 4.5 just feels like a lot, and for that reason, I'm taking the Titans.
And for that reason, I'm out.
No, I mean 4.5 is a lot of points for this Raiders team. Like the offensive line is failing, Geno's failing, Pete Carroll looks like he's freaking 80 years old and doesn't know how to coach football anymore. Bill Belichick, seems like that kind of class of coach has lost their fastball. Titans, I don't love the Titans, contrary to belief. I think I've picked them 4 or 5 times, but I am a hater of the Titans, and I would love to pick against them. But 4.5, what are we doing?
What? It should be 8.5, honestly.
Why do you always pick them up? Say 6.5. Well, don't pick 8.5. I don't know. Cam Moore didn't throw a touchdown last week. I'm looking at Geno Smith has 6 touchdowns, 9 picks. Come on, dude.
I don't give a shit. This Titans team's fucking terrible.
The Titans, Mikey, we might pick up another win here and get on the road to our over 6.5. We might be cooking right now.
We might be.
All right. Next game, or read Gabe's comment.
Okay. Yeah, we have 4 comments in the chat. Starting off, Raiders lock.
Thank you, Gabe. I'm with
Obviously. Get Mike off the air. You took them against my advice versus the Commanders. Don't blame me. That is true. I should have picked Mariota. That's still my biggest regret. Probably will be my biggest regret pick of the year is not picking Mariota against the Raiders. And Geno legacy game Sunday. Will we finally see Geno Smith unlocked for the Las Vegas Raiders? Well, what happened to week 1? He was actually looking.
Yeah,
I might fucking throw Geno to throw 4 tutties in my Focus 5 now, honestly. Thank you, Gabe, for the confidence.
Yeah, your focus 5 is really on top tier. Cam knows ball.
Thank you, Gabe.
Okay.
I don't
All
know
right.
if this is true.
This 4 o'clock slate, wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
Bengals, Packers. Packers minus 14 in Green Bay coming off of a bye week. Cincinnati Joe for the Cincinnati Bengals now. It's a different Joe. It's Joe Flacco, the trade news. Michael, we'll start with you. We see a 14 points on the board. What say you in this game?
Give me the Bengals. Give me all of them points. We're gonna need every single one of them.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Flacco can sling the rock still. Packers are gonna probably put him on his ass 15 times, at least. But I don't know. I really don't have very much confidence in the Bengals. I think I just like the Broadway Joe. Former Jet. Once a Jet, always a Jet. Joe Flacco to throw like 300 yards and 290 of them.
For the Jets?
2 years ago? 3 years ago?
He did. He was a backup there, yeah.
He started
Did they have a Monday night game against the Pats?
He started a few games.
Really?
Yeah, I got new quarterback boost, 14 points. It's just, I love the big spreads. Bengals, I think this is an easy one. If it was 14 and a half, I'd probably hammer it. 14. The Packers, they blew some teams out early, but they're kind of on a shaky road right now where they lost to the Browns in a weird game, and then they tied up against the Cowboys. So that defense is kind of looking a little bit suspect. I think Joe can just hop in there, throw it fast. He needs to throw it fast because the Bengals' offensive line is horrible. But he has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase whenever he wants. So I think this Bengals team kind of comes back to spirit with the new quarterback. You're stuck with Zach Taylor for now until the end of the season. You got to make what you can with. Bengals have 2 wins. They could theoretically pull off a win, which I have the Packers in the Super Bowl, so I hope they don't. But they theoretically pull off a win and be 3-3. I think the locker room spirits will be lifted. Jake Browning was maybe the worst quarterback I've seen perform this year. So I think everything's telling me to take the Bengals plus 14. Cam, finish it up.
Yeah, T-Ryan on this one as well. Couldn't say it better. Get the ball out quick. Probably the best, I feel like, weapons core Flacco's ever had. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like that Ravens.
You have Steve Smith and Torrey Smith, right?
I don't know. I would think. I know it's
those early year Falcon or Ravens teams had some guys on offense.
Fair. I would argue Jamar Chase is off to a better start of his career than Steve Smith was, and I think T. Higgins is better than Torrey Smith. But with that being said, you guys kind of hit the nail on the head. Not much to add. Biggest spread on the board. Really like the Bengals plus the points. Kind of like Mikey said, obviously, if you're just looking at these two teams straight up, you think the Packers pretty much handle this game, especially at home, especially after a couple of disappointing games. Only issue is Packers coming off a bye week. Makes me a little nervous, but Dub already mentioned the new quarterback boost, so I'm going to go with the Bengals plus the 14 here.
All right. Clean sweep there. We have one more game at 4 o'clock in this window. It is the San Francisco 49ers visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers -3. For me, this one is easy. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to cover 3 points and win this game by a decent margin. I think the 49ers at 4-1 is a crazy record, and I think they kind of had their worst performance of the season when Brock Purdy was re-entered onto the team. And granted, they will be getting weapons back, and this will be a good game. I think the Bucs can just win this game by a touchdown in Tampa. And yeah, I don't have crazy thoughts on it. I just trust the Bucs more than I trust the 49ers, which is crazy to say because the 49ers have a better record, probably a better team overall. But the Bucs have just had more consistency with their team in general. And the wide receiver core is just crazy. You got Godwin back. Mecca Buka looks like the rookie of the year. I don't know if Bucky's playing, but it doesn't even matter. Rashad White looked good last week, so I'm taking the Bucs -3 in a good game, but a game that the Bucs will win by 7 to 10 points. Cam, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going with the Bucs here. Is it confirmed? This might update one of my Focus 5 picks. Confirmed Brock Purdy is starting this week?
It's not confirmed. He has the projected fantasy points. I'll do some research, but
Okay, I might have to do an asterisk next to my focus 5. That's fine. I can come up with something, but yeah, I really like the Bucks here. We've talked about them, especially earlier on in this week's podcast, about how they can find a way to beat teams, play them close, even though they're not at full strength. And Buka, Dub just mentioned, looks like the rookie of the year, been playing his ass off. Baker obviously doing what Baker does. I think them at home against this Niners team. Niners, a lot of new people coming back this week, maybe a little bit of rust coming off of injuries, and then also not playing with each other for the past 2 or 3 weeks, give or take, depending upon who you're looking at specifically. But I'm going with the Bucks here, -3 at home.
Michael, finish us out.
Yep, I don't really have anything else to add. Taking the Bucks as well.
Alrighty.
Okay. A beautiful short thought.
You
Comment
guys
from
are
the chat.
just so well thought out comments, and yeah.
Shout out to Q Sudge and Sean Tucker legacy game. Weirdest thing that happened last week was Brady was like on a different game and called out Sean Tucker as having like a great game. He had like 4 carries for -3 yards and like 2 catches for 3 yards. I thought that was a very weird.
Brady knows ball.
Yeah, I guess so. Sunday night, Lions, Chiefs. Chiefs back on our screen in a primetime window. Lions back on our screen in a primetime window. We'll kick it to you, Cam.
So
What do you think, Dave?
I don't know if I'm missing something here, but does this spread not seem fucking weird to you at all? I know the Chiefs coming off of a win. I know they're at home. I feel the
They
Lions
lost
have been
last week.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Even better to my point. Don't really understand why the Chiefs are favored at all in this game. Especially after the Lions, after that week 1 loss, have been arguably one of the best offensive teams in the entire NFL. So I really like the Lions here. Maybe a part of my focus 5 as well going forward, but Lions plus the points against this Chiefs team, maybe they're due, but I don't know. It doesn't really seem right to me. Even if the Lions lose by whatever 2 points or 1 point, I really like those odds. So give me the Lions plus the points here.
Michael?
Yeah, same boat. I also looked at this and was very confused. Chiefs have not shown at all this year that they should be 2.5 point favorites. Yeah, and the Lions, I feel like they always put on a show prime time. I feel like we talked about that 2 weeks ago when they were on prime time. And they do. They score a lot of points. They play good games. And I feel like the Chiefs offense is where are they playing this week? Did we?
He played last week.
Yeah, where they played last week, he's going to play this week.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Chiefs have a little bit more on offense, but still not their full sheath of weapons there on the offensive end. But, yeah, I'm taking the Lions.
Okay. I'm also taking the Lions. Like you guys said, like I hate group riding it, but the Chiefs at -2.5, they just haven't shown me that. I mean, who are their wins? The Giants and the Ravens, who are like kind of looking like not a great team right now. Lions are in like midseason form. Everything we saw last year, I believe. So I just think the Lions win this game outright. It'll be a close game, but my memories thrown back to either 2 or 3 years ago when this was the first game of the season. Thursday night, Lions beat them in that kind of surprise upset. So wouldn't be surprised if the Lions have kind of unlocked some methods to beat with the Chiefs. So I think this is just one where I have to take the team I trust more at this point, which is the Lions. Monday night, another double header. First, we have some comments. Pass protection. That's what Sean Tucker is about. Hughes running backs are elite in the pass protection. So, fun fact of the day. Bills. Bills coming off the tough loss to the Patriots. Head to Atlanta. Atlanta off a bye week, 4.5 points. We'll start with you, Michael. What do you think for Bills Falcons?
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills here. They've had a couple weeks in a row of some lackluster performances, playing not great teams that they should beat by a lot and don't keep games close. Lose a couple, one, not a couple. And the Falcons, you say coming off a bye.
Yep.
I feel like that's good for some teams, not great for other teams, depending on head coach quarterback combo, I feel like, and not so confident in the Falcons in that respect. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Bills here.
I'm also taking the Bills. I think I'm kind of buying into that narrative you put out, Mikey, that the Falcons are like an up and down team. I think this is a down after, they had a win and then a bye week. I think people are going to be expecting them to cover the spread. And I kind of like them in the first slot here of the Monday night, where it feels like the second one will be more interesting. I don't know. That's probably nothing. But Bills, I think, get back spot where a lot of people are questioning them. And, what happens if the Patriots were to suddenly not cover that 3.5 spread against the Saints? Looks like a really bad loss. So I think they're going to want to get back. And I feel like the Bills notoriously aren't a team that blows people out like necessarily. I feel like they always kind of play teams a little bit closer than you'd expect. I just think this one's going to be different where you're coming off that loss, kind of reproof who you are. I think a lot of people think the Bills are the best team in the NFL. So I think Bills cover this -4.5. Cam?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Definition of a get-right spot for the Bills after that loss in the division. A little bit of a longer week at the extra day. Yeah, like you said, Bills arguably the best team in the NFL overall. Obviously, I want them to lose, so hopefully the Pats can take a lead within the division. But for the sake of betting-wise, Bills -4.5 seems like one of my favorite picks of the week, honestly.
Okay. One last game before we get to our last segments.
Sorry, before you keep going, is it what's the split on the Monday night game timing wise? Do you know?
I have it right here. Let's see. So Bills Falcons will kick off at 7:15, and then this game is kicking off at 8:15. So it's not bad.
Perfect.
10 o'clock
Okay.
split there. However, we have the Bears coming off a bye week. Commanders big win last week. Bears +4.5. On the road, I'm going to roll with the Bears. I think the Bears have been improved over the past couple of weeks of what we've seen, and they also have the bye week coming into this one, and I think the Commanders will be riding high after that win in LA against a team that people consider as a top-tier team, so I think they might fall asleep at the wheel. Mind you, this was also the game last year. That was the Hail Mary game that came down to the last second. I think the Commanders only covered that game by like a couple points because they were down like 4 or 5 or something. So I think this is going to be like a get-back spot from last year for the Bears overall. And also Caleb, I think, is improving. They're figuring something out. Ben Johnson's finally putting his fingerprints on this offense. So I'm trusting the Bears, and it might bite me in the ass because it's the Bears. But I think the Bears can cover 4.5 in Washington on a Monday night game. Cam?
Kind of going based off your last comment, I think it is going to bite you in the ass. I don't trust this Bears team at all. We've talked about Caleb, the painted nails kid. Give me the Skins on this game. I think Jaden, with another week of rest after that win under his belt, probably gets a little bit more healthy, looks more like himself. And I think this is a much better Skins team overall as opposed to the Bears. So even though it's prime time, like you said, there's history from last year. I like the Skins -4.5 here.
Okay. Michael?
Yeah, I'm the same with Cam. Don't trust the Bears. Commanders, I feel like we saw a decent bit of them last week, or Jaden coming back and being a better quarterback than he was the first couple weeks. Getting back to his old rookie ways. And the first pick, second pick battle is always an interesting one. And I think we saw last year and as well as this year that the second pick in that draft was the better quarterback. And I think that'll come to fruition again.
Okay. Okay, so that wraps up week 6. Another, honestly, not a great slate looking at it, but hopefully we got some good games. Our double header on Monday night. Decent Sunday night game with the Chiefs. Once again on Sunday Night Football. 4 o'clock windows, atrocious. Sunday night morning games, atrocious. Tomorrow might get bad, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have some good football to get to. Speaking of good football and good back and forth, we are joined by none other than DOUF Boy Mark for the DOUF Boys segment.
Actually, the both of us are here.
Oh, both in the building.
Both of us in studio.
In studio.
So 2-in-1
The
segment
Doufio.
here. Doofium on the Dubcast. So let's get into the results from last week. So last week, unfortunately, Michael, you're not able to join us, so me and Cam were forced into the action. I won the week 3-1.
Wow, good job.
Thank you. Mark and Tendy, 2-2 each. Feels like you guys just go 2-2 as a default, especially Mark. And then
Mark is a 2-on-2 machine.
Yeah, 2-2. This kid puts up 2-2 like it's his job. Cam, 1-3, let down the team.
I know.
Spread leader has been disappointing in the DOUF and also the Focus 5, but we'll get to that in a minute. So on the year, we have Team Florida, 14-10 with a positive record. That's carried solely by Tendy's 4-0 week 2 weeks ago. And then Team Dubcast is 11-13. You guys would be perfectly 12-12 if that didn't happen. All right. Anyways, Team Dubcast is 11-13. So the first question we have to ask is, which of the two of us will you be picking to go against you guys this week?
What do you think?
I mean, Mikey took a week off. Oh, Mikey's not there this week. No, he's there.
He's here.
I think Mikey needs to be. I
think we keep Mikey cold. Mikey's on the bench. He's getting cold on the bench.
Mikey's got the book.
Definitely Cam. The 1-3 stays.
Yeah,
sure.
Cam's got to stay.
All right.
Cam's basically playing for us at this point.
Okay. All right.
Cam would die for Mark's 2-2s right now.
Yeah, seriously.
I got a 2-2 week 1. I got a 2-2.
So, okay, I forgot that there is one update. So on the year, Tendy is the leader in the pack, 8-4. Mark's a perfect 6-6. I'm perfect 6-6. Mikey's a perfect 2-2. Cam 3-5. So Cam's only one negative, Tendy's only one positive. The rest of us are at 500.
All right. So Cam's got to stay. And then I think we're trying to keep Mikey on the bench. We want to get him real cold for when he has to come back in.
Okay. Mikey exiled again.
I guess
All right, big week, Dubs. Come on.
All right, let's go. Well, before we get into this, we have a comment from the chat. That mustache can't be taught. Incredible stuff, Mark.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's taken a lot. William. If I rooted for the Jets, it would not look this good. We'll just leave it at that.
He's such a loser. He's a Jets fan, Mikey. Don't let him do this.
Yes, deep down.
Deep down, in that cold heart of his.
All right, let's get to the picks. This is the pick show.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we'll start out with the dog. As is precedent on the stream, we can have the same dog. So it's me and Cam versus you guys this week. We'll start with the person who has the best record. Tendy, let's hear your dog for this week.
I really, really hate this, but I also really love it. I'm trusting Flacco. We're going plus 14 Bengals.
Okay.
It's a lot of points.
All right.
Who are they playing?
Playing
Packers.
the Pack.
That wasn't my board. Mark, what do you say for the dog?
I actually audibled off that. I am going Seahawks +1. I think they're a really good team, and they're going to win that game outright. They really could have won that game last week as well. So they're a good team. They're hot. Seahawks.
All right, Cam?
I'm going with the Panthers +3. 2-0 at home. I don't really think this Cowboys team is surrounding the hype that they deserve, especially with Dak, with all the MVP talk. I'm going with the Panthers +3.
So Panthers.
All right, for my pick, Bengals is number 1, but I'll differentiate. I'm taking the Lions +2.5. I think in Kansas City, I think they got it done outright. So
I think they do win that game. It's a good pick.
+2.5. I think that's where I'm going to be
Really,
with my picks. So we have the over. Tendy, we'll start with you again. What's your over for week 6?
This is I don't know what took over me today, but I have Steelers Browns over 38.5. It's not a lot of points.
Wow.
Rodgers could put up a big number against the Browns, and who knows what Dylan Gabriel does. But that's where we're at here.
Mark?
All right. It's a great pick. Great pick. My over. Cowboys, Panthers, 49.5. Cowboys could put up 49.5 on their own. The Panthers are streaky, so I'm hoping for like a streaky good Panthers game. But it doesn't even have to be that good because the Cowboys are that dynamic on offense. So 49.5, Cowboys, Panthers.
Okay.
That's a big number, Mark.
That's fine.
I think it's the highest
count
number
that.
on the board. One of the highest numbers.
No,
Yeah.
there was a 53 out there.
Oh, that's the Lions Chiefs game, probably.
Yeah,
Cam?
I'm gonna go with the Chargers and the Dolphins here. Kind of reeks of an under, but 42.5, not that many points. I think the Chargers, we kind of talked about it earlier in the pod, get right spot. I think they can put up a decent amount of points here, and the Dolphins showed that they can at least put the ball in the end zone every once in a while. So I'm gonna go with the over 42.5 in the Chargers Dolphins.
Cam, that's elite 1-3 shit right
That's
there.
a great pick.
Okay, we'll see.
Cam, I hope you're not getting rattled by the boys because
No, I'm fine.
you're
I'm
supposed to be
fine.
you're supposed to be our soldier.
I
My
got
pick for my pick for the over. I'm going with the Cardinals and the Colts over 46.5. I think the Colts have scored a lot of points in all their games, and I think the Cardinals, when they hang in there, will be able to score some points as well. I think that's a pretty good number, 46.5. That's where I'm at. We go to the under. 10 to your under for this week.
I'm trailing Cam on this one. Dolphins Chargers. This seems like the easiest under game of all time. Yeah, I actually have them at 43.5. I just did it 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
So, but
We can
whatever.
upgrade it to 43.5.
It also, I mean, you can keep yours at 42. I'll keep mine at 43, and we're both happy, I think, there.
Okay. That
All
works
right.
for me.
Some technicalities. We'll note that in the when we read this over.
Under.
Mark?
I'm going Bengals, Packers, under.
Ooh, each other again. It's annoying.
I don't think the Packers are good. The Packers actually haven't scored more than 22 points since week 1. That's a stat off the dome. Don't verify it because I don't know if it's true. And
Love
the
it.
Bengals are starting a old quarterback behind a bad offensive line with no running game. So I don't have a lot of faith. And first week in the system, like he's not going to do good. So that's my under.
Baker Mayfield on the Rams 2 years ago.
Baker Mayfield's a dog.
Okay.
All
And Joe
right.
Flacco's not?
Joe Flacco's a little bit washed, I think.
Whoa. All right.
All right. Cam, you're under for this.
I'm going Broncos Jets, unfortunately, for the Jets fan on pod. Fans, sorry, plural. I know Mark's got it deep down, but 43.5 seems like a lot going into Europe. Jets team has put up some points, but at the same time, I'm taking that huge Europe leap. I'm going to go with the under 43.5 in that game.
I was going to take the same thing, but I'm going to switch it and directly oppose. I think it was Mark's pick, Cowboys-Panthers. I'm going under 49.5.
Love it.
I think the Panthers could shit the bed and just not show up offensively at all. Cowboys might be due for a lot of points, but if the Panthers lock in Carolina, I think it'd be a weird spot. So I'm taking Cowboys-Panthers under. Finish it off with the favorite. Tandy, who's your favorite for this
I'm
week?
taking the hometown boys. Drake May is, I'm sure you guys talked about his greatness earlier in the pod. Unfortunately, had to miss it due to work, but I'm taking Patriots -3. And that's it.
All right, Mark?
Let's get out of here. What's my pick? I've got Rams -7.5. They're playing Baltimore. I think Baltimore might be like one of the worst teams in the NFL right now.
Whoa.
The Rams can put up points. I am honestly surprised this line isn't higher. I could see them winning by like 10, 13. Like the Ravens can't stop anyone. And the Rams have a good offense, so 7.5 is just a lock.
All right, Cam?
So I originally had the Pats, but I went with a different team based off Tendy's pick. I'm going with the Bills -4.5. Kind of talked about it. Big get right spot after that loss against New England last week. A little bit of a longer week with the extra day of prep. I'm going with the Bills -4.5 in the statement game against the Falcons.
Also had Pats, and then I had 2 other picks. I knew you were going to pick one of them. So the other one is the Bucks -3. Just
That's
love the Bucks in Tampa. So I don't know, confusion with the 49ers. I think that steam's bound to run out at some point. So there it is, the DOUF for this week. Clearly, you guys are a little occupied by the baseball game. So anything else? Any spiel you want to give, Mark? Garrett Nussmeier, Heisman, anything on?
No, I think that might be dead.
Oh, it's dead.
That might be dead.
He was so confident 2 weeks ago, whenever that was.
kind of like
What are you eating?
All right, I gotta go, boys. Thank you so much. Great pod. I'll be hopefully all in next week. I'm not working next Wednesday, so if it's same time next week, I will be.
All right, brother.
I'll be
We'll be
Same
locked
time,
in.
same place.
See you,
Good
boys.
to see you, Cindy.
Peace. Yep. Be good.
I'll stick around. I'll
Mark, what are you eating?
banter with the boys.
What are you eating?
I've got a chicken and rice bowl with some avocado, bean, corn.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. What do you want from me? You want like a future? You want
No, I mean,
best
you
pick
just
of the
last
week?
time you like wanted a stage. So if you wanted a stage, now's
Give
your
us a
chance.
baseball pick. I'm curious about the baseball picks.
Are the Yankees dead? Are they going to win this game?
Yankees are not dead. They're down 2-1.
This
What
is good
inning?
streaming, just eating right in front of.
Sixth inning. Toronto's throwing a bullpen game, so it's kind of like inning to inning. We'll see who they bring out next
Okay.
inning.
Staff day today.
What's up?
That day.
Staff day today.
Yeah, pretty much. The Yanks got Schlittler going. He's thrown well. He's given up like unlucky like little nubbers. Yanks are dead. Fuck off, buddy. But I think a really good value pick or a future that you're picking with hopes to hedge is Dodgers World Series. I think they're like plus 170 right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't understand how that's even a thing.
I mean, I understand it. Just that's nuts.
They're an absolute juggernaut. Like they're gonna win tonight. Phillies are dead. The Brewers, they're not gonna beat the fucking Dodgers. Dodgers will make the World Series and be favored in the World Series and probably win the World Series. But it's a good hedge spot if they just make it there.
Yeah. Fair.
So I don't know. That's my thoughts on baseball right now.
Your spiel.
Yeah, that'll be my spiel.
NBA is starting. Well, actually, we'll have time to talk about the NHL.
Mark's not
starts.
an
Any
NBA
NHL?
fan.
Any NHL
Got the Bruins
futures?
jersey on. First game of the year.
I know nothing about hockey. I could probably name 6 players. Basketball. Celtics aren't going to be that good this year.
What a hot take.
All right, we're getting to move on. Signal from the producer. So, any last comments?
No, that's it. Good luck this week, boys. Cam, thanks for trying.
Okay. I just snapped my pen based off of your comment. So
You're getting rattled. They're just going to pick you
I'm
up.
not. I'm just angry. I'm just like you talk about the Titans. I'm not red. I'm just furious. But
I'm not rattled. I'm just pissed off.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
We'll see you next week.
Tune in.
Thanks.
Aaron
Yeah.
Judge is on deck. Shout out Aaron Judge. Great game last night. Legacy game. If they win this series, it's the Aaron Judge Legacy series. And I'll sign off with that. Good night, boys.
Good
What a
night.
fucking terrible way to sign off.
Yeah, I know. Fuck that guy.
Message in the chat to you, Cam. Don't let him get to you
I'm not letting him get to me.
as you go black screen on us.
Yeah, come on. This kid's so tough. God.
When you go black screen, you get removed from the stage. I'm sorry. So we have the Focus 5. Last week, Michael, you weren't with us. So we had me, Rat, and Cam. Welcome back, Cam.
Thank you.
Cam, I don't know what's up with you, dude. It's like I feel like
He
the
doesn't
Focus,
know how to
dominate
bet.
every
I
segment
feel
of
like
this
the
podcast.
Focus 5 was like a gray area last year where you guys made fun of me for making straight bets and I changed to parlays and we didn't really know what the records. But now we have this on good authority. You lost 3 units last week. You're down to minus 5.8 units on the season. So we need to turn around on you.
So that means I'm due, basically.
I mean, you better hope. Rat,
Okay.
if Rat did a one-off performance, he had minus 0.6 units. So not the worst thing in the world. He did win a big bet. And then I was plus 3.64. The pluses keep coming in. So we'll start off with you, Kim. You're at almost minus 6 units for the viewers. The viewers are like starting to have to take an extra mortgage on their house. Like things are getting a little desperate on that. Like searching the couch cushions for extra coins. Like it's getting a little desperate out there. So you need to win some money this week. What do you got?
Well, if they want to win
Cash.
some money, they follow me on the spread because I've dominated the spread since this podcast existed. But, however, we are looking for a bounce back Focus 5. I do only have, I think I mentioned in the beginning, I only have the odds for the Thursday night game because the Blue will not give me anything on Sunday and or Monday. So Start off with Thursday. Do have the odds for that. I think it's a bounce back game for the Eagles. Dub mentioned receivers. I actually think it's more just complete domination from the running game. I think you get Saquon back on track. I'm going Hurts touchdown, Saquon touchdown, Eagles money line plus 334. All right, that's the first one. Second one, like I said, boots on the ground, a little parlay here. I did this last week, didn't work out. Obviously, Drake played his ass off, but didn't throw a touchdown. But I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for him to show out what he's actually like with his arm. So I'm going Pat's money line and Drake 2+ tutties. Wasn't sure if you have the odds on that. I can continue while you search that if you don't mind.
What was it?
Pat's money line and Drake 2+ passing.
Okay.
All right. While Dub looks that up, I got a little like parlay. I believe it's only in the 1 o'clock window. If not, it's only the 1 o'clock window. But Chargers money line in a get back spot. Pats money line in a game that they should win, coming off of the massive win against the Buffalo Bills. I got the Colts money line against the shitty Cardinals team that I obviously don't want to talk anymore about. And then I got the Rams money line against the Ravens team, obviously with Cooper Rush at the helm. So that's a 4-team parlay all in the 1 o'clock slate. Dub, you find those odds yet, or?
No. They don't have passing touchdowns up right now, so I'll have to set a reminder to put that one in. But
okay. So I don't know if you could check that other parlay. If not, we can also just talk about it next week too, if that's easier. But
wait, so there was another one you did the odds on?
Yeah, Chargers,
Okay.
Pats.
This is all just money line?
Yep. Chargers, Pats,
Yep.
Colts, and Rams.
Colts and Rams. That is plus 266.
Okay. Thank you. So this is the asterisk that I was mentioning earlier when we talked about the Niners game. I think this would be a perfect spot for a Mac 2 touchdown and Baker 2 touchdown. Obviously, that is dependent upon Mac starting in the game. So with that being said, if Mac doesn't start, I'll do the same thing with Baker 2+ tutties and then Bucks money line for that as my, if Mac doesn't start, little different bet.
Okay.
Obviously, we can get the odds to you whenever we can next week.
Yeah, the props aren't really out this week. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's because it's Wednesday, but all good. Last one, little Monday night, kick your feet up. Not really sure what's going to happen, even though we bet against the spread. I'm just going to go touchdown scores here. I'm going running back central. I'm going to go Gibbs with a touchdown, James Cook with a touchdown. Gibbs was Sunday night, but then also Cook money line touchdown on Monday night, and then Krosky Merritt, the running back for the Skins, for a touchdown. Don't know the 3 on those. The props weren't out on FanDuel either for that one, but that's my focus 5 of the week.
All right. A lot of asterisks and weird stuff. We'll have a post-pod discussion about that. We'll kick it to Michael. You're at almost plus 2 units for the viewers, so at least you're in the positive, you're in the green.
Yep.
Hoping to continue on with the green. What do you have for your focus 5?
Definitely in the green. Definitely going to stay there. So Thursday night football, taking the over 40.5 plus a Saquon touchdown, which is at plus 175. And then a little early morning Sunday, taking the Jets. Or I guess it's a parlay, but it's the Jets at plus 7.5 and the Saints at plus 3.5 to get you to 274. And then we're taking the Lions and the Chiefs game. Instead of just betting normal things, I decided to bet the Chiefs under 28.5 total score and the Lions over 24.5, which gets you to plus 190. And then these last two I don't have odds on because I did them late. But we're taking in the Panthers Cowboys game, we're taking a Dowdle touchdown and Cowboys money line. And then
Hold on.
oh, okay.
Cowboys money line and Rico Dowdle to score.
Yep.
Plus 282.
And then last one, we have a 3 touchdown scoring parlay of Jamar Chase, Puka Nakua, and Khalil Shakir.
Okay. Jamar is plus 185. Puka is not on the board right now, so we'll have to get back to that one as well. Okay. So we'll have the odds for that for the next week. Viewers.
Yes,
we had that one. So comment from the chat: OSU plus Oregon plus Oklahoma plus Pitt to cover against FSU plus Utah to cover against ASU. So we'll preview before I give my focus 5, and then we get to the NCAA segment. Comment from Mark: Cam minus 5 units is hilariously accurate. So it feels like there's a targeted attack coming here. So there's only one thing. There's only one thing you can do: shut him up.
Shut him up.
Check the spread record. That's all I'm saying. After a year and a half, Jesus Christ.
Don't worry, there is someone on this pod who makes y'all a bunch of money. I'm up almost plus 18 units on the NFL season. Here we go. My focus 5. I will say I didn't love this really slate at all, so this is kind of a weak, just because I have a bunch of weird stuff. But we'll start it off.
Be confident, Be confident.
Well, every time I say this, I end up hitting 2 or 3 of these. So the 1 o'clock parlay, we're going with the Pats money line, Chargers money line, Seahawks money line plus 345. 1 o'clock touchdown scores. I'm believing in our man Brian Thomas to get in there. He's going to do it. And I'm also taking him with Tet. So both of them together is plus 524. I hit that nice little JSN Devo parlay last week. That was one of the big reasons why I made some money last week. And this parlay I'm calling, you won't lose by this much, will ya? Teaser parlay. So I'm taking the Bengals tease them up to plus 17.5, and I'm teasing the Tennessee Titans up to 7.5. 7.5, Cam. That's not the worst thing in the world. Plus 140 on that parlay. Last 2 parlays are Monday night, so just weird bets. Bears tease them up to 7.5, plus 7.5, and then the Bills money line that gives you plus 124. And then we got fucking crazy. Single game, 3 touchdown scores. We're taking James Cook to score. We're taking Bijan to score. Josh Allen to score. I was going to go with Shakir. I don't know. I think Josh Allen's more likely to score than Shakir. Those 2 together give you plus 455. So there's the focus 5 before we get to NCAA week 7. What the Magoon is a ball knower. Too much time spent with Ben. I've been in the lab betting, bro. I've been like, y'all hating the game, but trust, man. Okay, so NCAA week 7, a very loaded week for ranked matchups. We start out in Illinois, where the number 1 team in the country, Ohio State Buckeyes, head there. Big Ten matchup. OSU minus 14.5 on the road. Cam, you've traditionally faded OSU to kind of draw some reactions maybe, but it's also lost you a lot of money. So what does your head and heart say for OSU minus 14.5?
Yeah, not obviously massive fan of OSU, but I'm probably a less fan of this Illinois team. I had faith in them. I think we had this discussion either week 2 or week 3 when they had a big game, ranked matchup when they got absolutely fucking smoked. I forget who they were playing, but I'm going with Ohio State minus the points here, 14.5. Can't really see this being a close one, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, I think OSU. I can't trust Illinois. I know they had that kind of comeback performance against USC, but I don't know. I think it's OSU's time to shine.
Yeah.
Also at noon is a SEC matchup. Alabama visiting Mizzou. Mizzou undefeated. Alabama only has the 1 loss to Florida State in the first week of the season. Alabama is 3.5-point favorites in Mizzou. I'm going with Mizzou plus 3.5. Big Bo Pereira guy for me. I think this Mizzou team's kind of underrated at this point. Like, they've really beat everybody in front of them, and Alabama is kind of overrated right now. So I think Mizzou can at least cover 3.5, maybe outright win this game. I'm on Mizzou for this one, and usually I'm a traditional fade Mizzou guy, but I really like Bo. So if Mizzou probably gets blown out in this game, I'll just be done with them for the season. But as of right now, I'm taking Mizzou. I'm backing them. What say you?
Yeah, I honestly couldn't agree more. I think it's a big letdown spot after I know they had that Georgia win 2 weeks ago, Vanderbilt last week. I don't know. I feel like they're kind of due for an SEC loss. I think they might be taking this Mizzou team a little lightly, especially going into Missouri. So I'm going to go with Mizzou here.
Okay. And then at 3 o'clock, we have Indiana in Oregon. Indiana, some big wins. Oregon, also a huge win over Penn State, who's now unranked. So Oregon gets 7.5 hook. Fernando Mendoza, a lot of people's Heisman and number 1 draft pick right now. for Indiana. It's number 3 versus number 7. What do you think here?
Give me Oregon. This is definitely not a letdown spot. I love Oregon against Indiana, especially at home. I don't care if there's a hook. Give me the Oregon -7.5, please and thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to take Oregon too. I don't know. It's a weird spot. I think Indiana doesn't really travel well. Also, I think they're very overrated. And I think Dan Lanning at home, like as soon as one person in Indiana says something wrong about Oregon, they're going to be like
it's bulletin board
super
material.
motivated. Yeah, so they're really good at that stuff. Bonus game. We don't usually do the bonus game, but it's the Red River rivalry. Don't know if you looked at this one because it's not a ranked matchup because Texas is unranked, but Oklahoma versus Texas. Oklahoma -1.5. There's apparently like a weird rumor out there right now that Mateer might start and play in this game. So kind of a weird one to pick. I mean, obviously we don't really keep track of these, but just for the viewers.
Yeah.
OU
Honestly, personally, I'm probably not going to touch this game just based off of Texas letting me down against Ohio State. And then obviously, I think it was last week against Florida. So I probably won't touch it. I want to say Texas, especially if Mateer is not starting. But if he is, that's obviously a huge boost for Oklahoma, even though he's coming off an injury. But if I had to pick for the sake of the pod, I'm probably going to lean Oklahoma, obviously a top 10 team against an unranked matchup at home. And Texas has not given me any sign of life other than their defense. I mean, offensive side of the ball, they're both disgusting. So with that spread, for the sake of the pod, give me Oklahoma -1.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just think Arch Manning has been a major disappointment, and I don't know how it's going to get better against an Oklahoma defense that's actually really good. Like they shut down Bryce Underwood. I mean, they haven't let up more than 17 points to any team so far, including Auburn and Michigan. So I think it's just got to be Oklahoma for me, even if they started their backup. Like I could see this being like usually Red River Showdown's like 50-50. I think it's gonna be like a slower paced, kind of like 20 type game for Oklahoma to win. So that's this week in football, basically. Before we end out, we have comments from the chat. This was in regards to the Mizzou-Alabama game. Going to be close there. I just take the over. Any thoughts on the over-under in Mizzou, Alabama? I think it's 50.5.
50.5.
51.5.
I don't know, honestly. I can honestly see this being a tighter game. I don't know, just the feeling of it. I feel like Alabama can come up a little bit tight and not play to their full offensive ability. And then Mizzou might just be trying to play to win at home. 50.5, I know it's college, but it is a decent amount of points. So I can see this being relatively lower, but I mean, I don't really bet over-unders in college, so I don't know as well on that.
Yeah, 51's high. I'd probably go over, though. I don't know. I think it's going to be – like, I feel like Bama's defense hasn't been that great.
Yeah.
Bo knows for Mizzou. Yeah, I like Bo Prevula. I wanted Syracuse to get him. Obviously, I'm happy with Angeli, but I like Bo Prevula. Ducks versus them. Love that, too. And then Oklahoma going to smoke them. I don't know if it'll be a smoke game, especially if John Mateer doesn't play, but I think it'll be closer.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma gets the dub. All right, great stream tonight. Any final thoughts before we wrap up here and send our viewers away with our picks?
No. How about them?
Shout out the replay viewers if anyone's still watching.
Shout out replay gang.
Yeah, if there is a replay gang, I don't know.
No, nothing to add. Thanks again for hosting, Dub. Always
All
appreciate it.
Thanks to all the viewers. Lively chat tonight. We'll be back once again every week, hopefully Wednesdays at 7, but it is privy to change different times, and sometimes you get a different array of guests. But appreciate you guys as always, and as always, be easy, y'all.